Live from County Stadium, Game 3 of a 3-game series featuring the National League Western Division champion San Francisco Giants and your Milwaukee Brewers. And welcome back to County Stadium. Another great afternoon for baseball. Matt Vasgersian and Bill Schroeder, glad to have you with us. Our third of 3 between the Brewers and Giants. The Brewers have looked very, very good in the first 2 games of this homestand, the first 2 games of the series with San Francisco, and are in a position here this afternoon where they're looking for a series sweep.
And they've looked very good in the first 2+ weeks of this season, looking for their second series sweep already of this young season. It was a long time for the Brewers to get any series sweeps last year. It's been pitching and defense. That's been the word this weekend.
Yesterday afternoon here at County Stadium, the Brewers looked very, very good. Had early offense. They had enough offense, as a matter of fact, before they had recorded a single out a day ago. Jeff Cirillo got it started. L.A. guy, grew up watching Orel Hershiser pitch in Southern California. Orel, hello. Second career bomb for Jeff against Hershiser, one of his boyhood idols. Insurance came as early as the bottom of the 5th. John Jaha, base knock back up the middle. Plated Cirillo, 3 runs. That's all Paul Wagner would need. Wags earns his first win of the year. And from that point on out, it was all Doug Jones. Good defense behind him. Cirillo was all over the place yesterday. Jonesy would record the final out and lock down save number 6 and round to a 3-1 Brewer win. They're looking for a series sweep here today. A good pitching matchup here in Game 3 of the series from County Stadium. A couple of southpaws, each of which off to a very good start. For the Brewers, left-hander Scott Carl, and for the Giants, lefty Kirk Reeder.
Well, Kirk Reeder has all the pitches, a very good changeup. The Brewers are really going to have to try and stay back, particularly the right-handers. He's also got a very good curveball. He's through 6 strong outings in his last start. Scott Carl just lucky to be on the mound today. The line drive hit him in Montreal. He's okay. Scotty coming off some solid outings so far this year.
Giants are 4-1 against left-handed starters. The Brewers 4-2. Each plays well in the daytime, and this should be a good finale of what has been a very good series for the Brewers thus far. We're glad to have you with us on Midwest Sports Channel this afternoon. Do stay with us. Starting lineups and opening pitch right after this. National anthem and a beautiful afternoon for baseball as the Brewers look to complete a series sweep, what would be their second of the year, here having won the first 2 against the San Francisco Giants. Again, a great afternoon for baseball. We are told that the bleachers will be sold out for the second consecutive afternoon. 57 degrees, and let me tell you, in that sunshine, it feels more like 69, 70 degrees out there. A gorgeous one. Brewers and Giants looking to play in front of an estimated crowd this afternoon of upwards of 30,000 fans, taking advantage of the Spring Madness promotion, taking advantage of a gorgeous afternoon and a very good team on the field.
I'll tell you what, it's hard to believe that the Brewers could play any better than they are right now. They're getting the solid pitching from the starters. The bullpen is playing well. And I'll tell you, we've seen a lot of games here, Matt, in the last couple of years, and I don't remember any game in particular where we saw so many great defensive plays, not only from the Brewers, but both ball clubs. And it's been a great series so far, as you mentioned. Some marquee players coming in here from the Giants, and the Brewers certainly in the first 2 games of this series have risen to the occasion.
Been a fun one to watch, and as the Brewers look for the sweep today, this is how Dusty Baker aligns the Giants. It'll be Darrell Hamilton, the former Brewer, to lead off in center field. Bill Miller at third, bats number 2. Left fielder Barry Bonds, 0 for 7 in the series, bats third. Jeff Kent had a 3-hit game yesterday. He's at second base hitting cleanup. Charlie Hayes will make his first start of the series at first base, batting 5th. Veteran right fielder Stan Javier bats number 6. At catcher with a 6-game hitting streak, it's Brian Johnson in the 7th spot. Shortstop is Rich Aurelia hitting 8th. And pitcher Kirk Reeder rounds out the lineup for Dusty Baker's Giants.
Well, and here's how the Brewers line up defensively this afternoon behind left-hander Scott Carl, Jackson, Grissom, and Burnitz in the outfield, the same outfield for the entire series. Cirillo at third. Mark Loretta gets a start at shortstop for the 2nd time in this series. Valentine gets the afternoon off. Hot-hitting Fernando Vina at second base. John Jaha back in the lineup after leaving yesterday's game early with a slight hamstring strain. And behind the plate, Mike Matheny.
So Scott Carl on the mound for his 4th start of the year. There's the numbers on Scotty this season. He's been pitching very, very well. Only 2 walks all year long out of Scott Carl over 3 starts. He's averaging just about 1 per 9 innings. And I'll tell you, compared to the start Scott Carl got off to last year, this is the real Scott Carl, the one that has started 1998.
Well, the big difference is the walks, only 2 walks, and Scott Carl doesn't have the stuff that he can get by walking guys and making up for it with strikeouts. But he has struck out 15 batters. That's a lot for him in the beginning part of this season, almost 1 per inning, and he normally doesn't do that.
Umpires for this afternoon's finale in the series: Steve Ripley calling balls and strikes in the infield, first to third Gary Darling, Mike Winters, and Larry Poncino. So Hamilton, Miller, and Bonds for the Giants as we are ready for baseball this afternoon. First pitch of the day from Scott Carl. In for a strike. Hamilton 2 for 7 in this series so far. He was hitless yesterday, 0 for 4 against Paul Wagner and company.
Time of the first pitch, 1:08 p.m. Game time temperature 60 degrees, winds northeast at 10.
One ball, 1 strike on the former Brewer Darrell Hamilton.
Well, the Brewer pitchers have been doing a nice job with the 1, 2, 3 guys in this order, and those are the guys that get on base in front of Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent, the big boppers.
2-1 pitch lined out to left. Jackson out there for it. It'll bound in front of him. And it's a leadoff single for Darrell Hamilton.
That looked like a pitch up in the strike zone, and Hamilton able to fight it off. He didn't hit it all that well, but an inside-out stroke. Fastball right out over the plate. Hamilton just slices it into left field in front of Darren Jackson in left.
Third baseman Bill Miller now. Wide open stance from the right side of the plate. First pitch to him from Carl misses high. As fans in Milwaukee certainly remember, Hamilton a threat to run from first base. Carl will be keeping his eye on him as you take a look at what Bill Miller has done in the series. A couple of singles. He was 1 for 3 with a walk yesterday, 1 for 3 with a walk Friday night.
Well, the big key to the success that Carl has had so far this year, the 2 victories, no defeats. He's been able to be very productive on the outside corner early in the count with that sinking fastball. Then he'll run that cutter in on their hands when they're not looking for it. He needs to throw early strikes on the outside.
Down to 3-0 now on Bill Miller.
You know, talking to Carl before the ball game, he said that his hand does not bother him at all when he's throwing the baseball. It's a little bit tender. It is black and blue. His grip is good. He said it doesn't bother him a whole lot to squeeze the bat. He said the only thing that would really hurt him is if he got hit with another baseball. There's a revelation, huh?
Wow.
That's good news. I tell you, the Brewers are lucky with that situation with Scott Carl. Looks like Jose Mercedes is going to be okay. He threw on the side today. He hurt himself a couple of nights ago.
3 balls at strike now on Bill Miller. Grounded towards the hole. Great stop by Loretta with a dive throw to second, not in time. Great stop by Mark Loretta just to get to that ball as he was pulled in tight at short. Not in time to get the force out on Hamilton, however, and Miller is aboard on an infield single.
Mark Loretta hugging the bag, trying to get close enough to turn the double play and double play depth, and unable to come up with it. Boy, what a great stab at shortstop, and the throw a little bit too late. The speedy Darrell Hamilton able to beat it. Another great defensive play.
Here now is Barry Bonds with runners at first and second and nobody out. You mentioned it earlier, Bill, the fact that the Brewers have really tempted fate throughout the series with the likes of Bonds, Kent, and Snow, the powerful middle part of this lineup. Snow with a day off today. But once again, the Brewers pitching to Bonds with runners aboard. In the series thus far, Bonds is hitless 0 for 7, having driven in a run on Friday with an RBI.
As you mentioned, tempting fate. You surely don't want to do that too often with a guy like Barry Bonds. He's going to hurt you sooner or later. Hopefully tomorrow in Pittsburgh.
2-1 on Bonds now.
Barry Bonds, notoriously a very slow starter. We talked about it each game of this series. Didn't start really hitting until June. Still had 40 homers, 100 RBIs. Imagine if he got off to a good start every year.
It's really scary to think of what he could do. He guaranteed about 35 dingers and 100 RBI with this guy. There's a 2-1 home from Carl. Swung on, yanked into the corner, but well fouled. Bonds waits
slider. Excuse me, Matt.
Second. I'm sorry. He waits a half a second there, and boy, gets it out of here.
Yeah, it looked like a hanging slider. Barry Bonds double clutched almost. You can see him wait back. Boy, extend those hips, those arms get out there. He chokes up on the bat about an inch. I don't see many power hitters do that.
2-2 now. Fans clapping it up behind Carl. Nobody out. Runners at first and second to set the table for the Giants. We are just underway this afternoon. Out of the stretch. Sit down. Carl punches out Bonds. One away.
Well, he wasn't looking for the straight fastball. Probably looking for the slider again. Carl hung a slider that Bonds hit about 2 miles. This was right down the middle, right at the knees. A good pitch. Well, that's a good hitter's pitch, and Bonds frozen on it. That's what you call outthinking the hitter right there.
One away for Jeff Kent now. Kent was the hottest Giant bat yesterday, having gone 3 for 4 after a hitless debut here in Milwaukee. 0 for 4 on Friday. .13 RBI for Kent. That leads the Giants.
Well, the good news for the Brewers yesterday, Jeff Kent got all those base hits but didn't drive in any runs. He's got an opportunity to do that today. He's really hitting with nobody on yesterday. You see the good crowd here at County Stadium.
Throw to second, not in time to get Hamilton.
Is he trying to keep the runner Darrell Hamilton close? Well, you get that throw in the bag, it might be interesting.
Scott Carl has faced Jeff Kent before when Kent was a member of the Cleveland Indians a couple years ago. And Scotty has really gotten the best of Kent over the years. Kent just 1 for 7 against Carl, a couple of strikeouts on his line.
Well, Jeff Kent, a pretty good fastball hitter, and you know Scott would rather not throw him a fastball. That last pitch looked like a backdoor slider. He'll throw him a lot of changeups and sinkers. Good double play pitcher right here.
3-0 now. We talked about the approach you need to take against Jeff Kent. He's up there looking for fastballs early in the count. Behind 3-0, it becomes that much more difficult to pitch home from Carl. In for a strike. Come on back, Jeff.
Very similar to the pitch that Steve Ripley rang Barry Bonds up. That might have been a little bit lower than the other one. Jeff Kent, no doubt in his mind it was low, and it looked low. 3-0, close enough.
You see Jeff Kent there on his way back to the plate to pick up his bat. He looked at home plate umpire Steve Ripley and kind of said, "That's my bat, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Wanted to make sure Steve Ripley knew he wasn't trying to show him up there.
Yeah, right.
Your strike zone gets a heck of a lot bigger when that stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
So 3-1 now. Jeff Kent has been known to provide some good theatrics when he's up there at the plate. He's a fun guy to watch play. Apart from what he can do with a bat, huge year last year. Very good offensive second baseman and good around the bag as well. But he's fun to watch play in the sense that he'll do things that you wouldn't expect a player to do in a major league batter's box.
Well, the Brewers really concerned about Darrell Hamilton at second base, trying to keep him close. 3-1. You never know. Dusty Baker might try and have the runners moving here.
Here's a 3-1 home from Carl. That one misses for ball 4. So with 1 away, that'll load him up for Charlie Hayes.
Well, Scotty Carl pitching very carefully to that hot-hitting Jeff Kent. Why not? Charlie Hayes has yet to appear in this series. Scotty needs one of those patented sinking fastballs. Let Charlie Hayes roll it over and get into a double play.
So loaded up for the Giants now for Charlie Hayes. Hayes has started slowly, just 3 for his first 19. They were talking about Jeff Kent a moment ago and some of the things he'll do in the batter's box. He was hit in the head with a pitch last week by Dan Maselli of the Padres.
He can throw it a little bit.
Didn't care for that much. Picked up the baseball and threw it in the stands. I love that.
Once in a while you see a guy get hit by a pitch, it'll fall at his feet and he just looks at it and flip it back to the pitcher and saying, is that all you got?
Yeah. Ball and no strikes on Hayes. Swung on and bounced to third. Cirillo to Vigna. No relay. That'll score a run. Didn't get out to Jeff quickly enough to really give the Brewers a good chance at the double play.
Well, Scott got the pitch that he wanted on Charlie Hayes. He did roll over on it, but beat it into the ground. No chance for a double play on that.
Right fielder number 28, Stan Javier.
Couple of hops to Cirillo. Cirillo trying to turn 2, but you can see Jeff Kent gets to second base in a hurry and disrupts the timing of Fernando at second.
So 2 gone, runners at the corners. Giants the first to score this afternoon as Hamilton comes home. Give the RBI to Hayes, his 9th of the year. And now it's Stan Javier. Switch hitter in from the right side against Carl. Little chip shot, slowly hit out to second. Vigna to Jaha, side retired. Giants do score a run in the top of the first, however, after a half inning of baseball this afternoon at County Stadium. Giants 1, Brewers coming to bat. Giants loaded the bases at the top of the first. Scott Carl gets out of the inning with just 1 run coming across for San Francisco. So 1-0 Giants after a half inning. And here's how Phil Garner aligns the Brewers today against left-hander Kirk Reeder. Vigna to lead things off, a 6-game hitting streak. He is among the league leaders in many an offensive category, batting at .423 overall, off to a great start. Cirillo, Jaha, and Burnitz 2 through 4. Marquise Grissom, who had his 12-game hitting streak come to an end yesterday, bats number 5. At first base, Mark Loretta hitting 6. Checked out at shortstop. It's Loretta in the 6th spot. Darren Jackson making his 3rd consecutive start in left, bats number 7. Mike Matheny and Scott Carl round out the lineup for the Brewers.
Let's take a look at Dusty Baker's troops defensively. Bonds, Hamilton, and Javier in the outfield. Billy Miller, Rich Aurelia, Jeff Kent. Charlie Hayes getting his first start of the series at first base, spelling J.T. Snow. Brian Johnson behind the plate. And on the mound, 27-year-old left-hander Kirk Reeder.
Reeder had an outstanding year last year in '97 for the Giants. He was very strong down the stretch in September. In fact, of all the good arms that Dusty Baker had working for him last year, it was Reeder's from the starter spot that really burdened a lot of that responsibility of pushing the Giants towards an eventual National League Western Division crown. And there you see the start he's gotten off to in '98. 2-0 on Fernando Vigna, make it 3 balls and no strikes.
As you mentioned, Reeder really did the job for the Giants last year. 4-0 in September when it really counted. Kid knows how to win.
Ball 4 to Vigna. Fernando aboard on a 4-pitch walk to set the table in the bottom of the first.
Well, what's new? Fernando Vigna on base to lead off the ball game. Fernando's done a great job in doing that. If Kirk Reeder has one Achilles heel, it's going to be wildness. He will walk a few batters, 11 so far this year. Got a very good sinking fastball, good changeup. Changeup's his best pitch, which he throws predominantly to right-handed hitters.
Cirillo now with Vigna aboard to start the ball game, bottom of the first. Fernando Vigna started play with the 4th best on-base percentage in the National League. at 481. Bound to go up after today's already. 5 straight balls to start Kirk Reeder's afternoon as he misses to Cirillo 1-0.
You see the batting average for Cirillo at 277. You'd think that he's not hitting the ball well. He certainly is. Big article in the Journal Sentinel this morning about Cirillo. He got the big home run in the first inning yesterday, but Jeff has been striking the ball very well, but really hasn't had a whole lot to show for it. That'll drive a hitter crazy.
Brian Johnson wants to chat things over with Kirk Reeder, who has not thrown a strike yet this afternoon.
And the following people, please report to the Fan Assistance Center. Scott Becker. Scott Becker.
Kirk Reeder last started on the 13th of April versus St. Louis, and he was outstanding. An 8-2 winner over the Cardinals really shut down that powerful Cardinal offense. 5 hits over 6 innings, did not allow a run, struck out 5, walked 3. Here's the 2-0 to Cirillo. There's a strike.
Pretty good running count right here. 2-1. Fernando Vina has good speed on first base. Nobody handles the bat any better than Cirillo on the Brewers. Let's see Fernando try and steal a bag, maybe a hit and run here.
Vina already with 4 stolen bases this year. Pitch to Cirillo, lined out to center, hit very hard, but right at Darrell Hamilton. That has been the story for Cirillo the past week.
Not a whole lot you can do about it as a hitter. The only thing you can do is hit it and hope it lands somewhere where there isn't a fielder, but that hasn't been the case for Cirillo in the last week. He leans all over the high fastball, but right to Darrell Hamilton in center. What's new for Jeff?
There's John Jaha now with 1 away. Good to see Johnny back in the lineup today, able to play after he was removed yesterday as a precautionary measure.
I'm talking to Johnny Adam before the ball game today. He said that Jaha stretched his hamstring when the team was in Montreal a little bit. Good enough to play, but hurt it again yesterday. John wants to be in the lineup. That's good to see. Don't expect John to be stealing a lot of bases today, however.
Jaha already with 1 stolen base and 2 attempts this year.
Well, he stole the base yesterday, didn't he?
Somebody told him he was Marquise Grissom. Lined over Miller into left. Vina to the next station. And the Brewers putting something together in the bottom of the first.
Now the early innings have been the friend of the Brewers so far in this series. Got 2 big ones yesterday. Early innings have been kind. Fastball tailing away. Jaha gets enough of with that big bat that he's wielding off the end of Billy Miller's glove.
Jeremy Burnett's the batter now. Runners at first and second with only 1 away. Brewers trying to get that run back early. Now, you mentioned, Bill, that the Brewers have scored in the first inning in each of the first 2 games in this series. And it's really been a problem for the Giants shutting down the opposition in the first inning of a ball game. The Giants have been scored upon in the first inning in 9 out of their 17 games so far this year. Tough when you're always trying to play comeback.
Yeah. Particularly when your big boppers aren't swinging the bat very well.
1-0 on Burnett's. Well hit the other way, but right at Bonds. 2 out.
Well, a good approach by Jeremy Burnett at the plate. Lefty versus lefty. Burnett's getting some good cuts the last week or so against left-handers. The Brewers have seen 4 of them in their last 6 games, and Burnett's starting to zero in. He was working on that stroke during batting practice today, going to left field.
There's Marquise Grissom now, hitless 0 for 4 yesterday, and it's the first time in nearly 2 weeks that we have said Marquise Grissom hitless yesterday. Bounce towards the right side. Kent to his left makes the play and gets Grissom to retire the Brewers in the first. Kirk Reeder strands a couple of base runners in the bottom of the first inning. After one at County Stadium, Giants on top 1-0. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC.
See, it's NFL passing, it's NFL speed, it's NFL power, and it's all NFL Europe. Tune in for all the NFL action as the Scottish Claymores take on the Rhine Fire in the European League tonight at 5:30 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Brian Johnson leads off the Giants second. Johnson, Aurelia, and pitcher Kirk Reeder here top two. 1-0 San Francisco. Matt Vasgersian, Bill Schroeder, producer-director Wade Rowland on a glorious mid-April morn here in southern Wisconsin.
Beautiful day. Beautiful weekend, huh?
Yeah, it really has been.
Couldn't ask for much more than that.
Of course, tomorrow, the first day off in a while, and the forecast is for rain.
It's all right.
Give me an excuse to stay home and watch cartoons all day.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that either.
3 balls and a strike on Brian Johnson in the midst of a 6-game hitting streak. Popped him up, slicing towards the stands. Jaha and Vina are over there near the stands, and it's into the first row. Now the Brewers starting play this afternoon at 11-5, having won their last 3, the first 2 in this tough homestand. It's good for a half-game lead over St. Louis atop the National League Central Division. Cubs a game and a half out at 10-7. In the West, San Diego leads the pack by 5 over the second-place Giants at a 14-3 Major League best record.
Yeah, man.
Lined into the stands. Hey, not a bad play.
That's why you bring your glove, right? Wow.
That guy's showing his buddies now. He said, see, you called me kind of a knob for bringing my glove to the yard. I just made the play, buddy. Good work. There's ball 4 to Brian Johnson.
Very uncharacteristic of Scott Carl so far today. 2 walks coming in. His first 3 starts, only 2 walks combined. Obviously that hand perhaps giving him a problem with the feel within the strike zone. Maybe not giving him any pain, but might be affecting his control a little bit.
Here's Rich Aurelia now. Aurelia had the night off yesterday, or shall we say the day off yesterday, in favor of Ray Sanchez at short. Dusty Baker having gone to the straight platoon at shortstop this year. Both Aurelia and Sanchez getting plenty of at-bats so far this season. You know, we mentioned the San Diego Padres a moment ago, Bill, and the Brewers get a chance to see this very good San Diego team as early as the first week of May.
Yeah.
So after the West Coast trip to end the month, the Brewers come home for a juicy homestand with the Reds, Padres, and Astros.
Not a whole lot of teams that you could honestly say are patsies in that group. The Giants, the Dodgers, San Diego. Of course, there's really no patsies in baseball. Anybody can beat you on a given day, but playing some pretty good teams in this stretch right now for the next 3 weeks or so. Astros.
Very well could get into a situation where the Brewers keep eyeballing that schedule, the next group of opponents, and saying, well, okay, this has all been very good. We're beating Florida, we're beating Montreal, but we got to get through the Giants and Dodgers. So far, the Brewers have been able to handle San Francisco. We'll wait and see what happens with the Dodgers. Might get to the point at the end of April where they're looking to the next group of opponents and say, okay, we got through the Giants and Dodgers. What do the Padres have? What about Houston?
Kevin Brown, Tony Gwynn. Well, all you can ask of a ball club is to win each series. If you can do that, you're going to make the playoffs. And the Brewers have been able to do that so far, except for the Atlanta series, which they split.
1-2 pitch to Rich Aurelia, breaking pitch. Hit in the air in center. Grissom for out number 1.
Well, the Brewers lost 2 of 3 to the Mets here, but they're guaranteed a series win here against the Giants. That's all you can expect.
Kirk.
Pretty good off-speed pitch. That's the palm ball from Scott Carl, and Richard really way out in front. Easy play for Marquise in center. That's the pitch that Scott has to have. Obviously he's struggling with his control with his fastball early in the game here, and that palm ball can get him out of some trouble.
Here's the pitcher, Kirk Reeder now. Cirillo pulled in tight at third base. Shows bunt, takes a strike. Reeder 1 for 6 with a bat in his hands this year. Intricate set of signals being flashed by third base coach Ron Wotus. Reeder puts down the bunt. It's a good one. Matheny will have just one play. That's to first. Vigna covering, 2 out.
Well, you ask yourself why their National League games are, for the most part, low scoring. That's the answer right there. You get your pitcher to bat a couple of times a game, 2-3 times, and they give themselves up. Instead of 27 outs, you've only got to get 25 outs, perhaps 25, 24 outs. Not so in the American League.
2 away, top of the order, Darrell Hamilton now. Led off the ball game with a base hit, would eventually come around to score in front of Charlie Hayes' fielder's choice ground ball. Brian Johnson, the base runner from second, 2 away, 1-0 Giants, top of the second inning. Strike 1, a ball and a strike now on Darrell Hamilton.
Now Darrell Hamilton, one of those rare left-handed hitters that likes the ball up in the strike zone. Not a bad fastball hitter when it's up because he's got that inside-out stroke. Normally left-handers like the ball down, they golf the ball. Not Darrell.
Well, on the appeal, they say he didn't swing the bat. 2-1. Let's take a look at that again.
Well, Scotty going up and in. Hard to tell on that angle, but that one there showed that he went.
Awfully tough to check your swing when you square your shoulders around as far as Hamilton did there. 2-1. Line to short. Good play by Loretta. Side retired. Loretta had him defended well. Carl strands a base runner in the second. 1.5 gone. 1-0 Giants.
Fans, help the Brewers provide baseball gloves for their youth baseball programs. Bring gloves to Gate X on Tuesday, April 21st, and receive a game ticket for $1 for each glove redeemed. That's April 21st against the Dodgers.
Mark Loretta leading off the Brewers' second. Loretta, Jackson, and Matheny here against Kirk Reeder. Lowe had the day off yesterday. Was 1 for 3 with a pair of RBI on Friday. One of 2 two-run doubles that the Brewers had, and are out to the 5-2 win over San Francisco in game 1. Wow. A called strike on Loretta. Thought that was tight.
Well, when you're facing Kirk Reeder, you're obviously going up there looking away. He's got a good sinker and a change-up, thinking about going to right field. When he busts you in, it surprises you. He did it again.
And Loretta won't be fooled twice. Spoils it away.
Well, Loretta's been very productive with his 2 base hits, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, and that's why Phil Garner somehow has to find a way to get that kid in the lineup. He's too good a player to ride on the bench for very long.
Count to 2-2 now. Kirk Reeder, one of the better pitchers in the National League that longtime American League fans may not have heard of. Giants acquired Reeder in July of '96 along with right-hander Tim Scott in exchange for Mark Leiter. And not to take anything away from right-hander Mark Leiter, certainly a very good major league starting pitcher, but Reeder has the kind of stuff that could anchor a staff and do so for many years. He's just 27 years old. Popped up. Looks like this one could stay playable. Nobody can get over there, however. Still 2-2 on Loretta.
As you mentioned, Kirk Reeder is one of those guys that just knows how to win. In 20 of his 32 starts, last year, the Giants won 20 of them. That's not bad. 20 of 23 starts were wins for the Giants. Easy for me to say, huh?
Sure.
It's Sunday. Day of rest.
Absolutely. 3-2 on Loretta. Mark doing a good job to come back and fill the count after being behind. Reeder out of the wind. And there's ball 4. Nice at bat by Mark Loretta that time.
Well, Loretta down in the count very early, and Kirk Reeder having some control problems so far this afternoon. Very similar to Scott Carl, his second walk.
So the second time in as many innings opened by the Brewers that Reeder has lost the leadoff hitter to the base on balls, and now it's Darren Jackson. The Jax has hit in each of the 2 games in this series. Bounced back to the mound with Loretta running. Reeder knocks it down and gets Jackson at first, Loretta to second.
Yeah, good job by Darren Jackson. That pitch was way out of the strike zone, an obvious hit and run by the Brewers. Darren Jackson's job on the hit and run, make contact at any cost, and that's just about what he did. Almost jumped out off the ground to make contact with that ball. There he is at the top of the shoulders, makes contact and puts Mark Loretta in scoring position.
1 away for Mike Matheny now. Now there's a situation where, had the Brewers still been playing in the American League, may not have seen a hit and run play put on. But Phil Garner, eyeballing his lineup card, seeing the pitcher up next after Matheny, wants to give Matheny the RBI situation here, thus getting Loretta to second.
Looked like Reeder took a little bit off of that pitch, had Matheny out in front. Pretty good location on it, just off the outside corner.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped him up. Brian Johnson flips the mask and records the out. 2 out now. Loretta remains at second. Scott Carl the batter.
Now, pitch similar to the first one that Matheny swung through. This one had a little bit more of the plate, but got on top. Like one of those BP fastballs. You take a little off, get the hitter off balance. Easy play for Brian Johnson.
Scott Carl 1 for 5 this year with the bat in his hands. Top of the order waiting on deck. Talked about Kirk Reeder and his ability to go out there and win ball games for the Giants, and how the Giants have had good success in games started by Reeder. He opened his major league career with a 10-game winning streak that spanned a couple of years with the Expos. He was up and down in '93 and '94, but just missed tying a major league record for wins to start a career. The record is 12. Reeder won 10.
I think Cal Eldridge started out about 10 wins, didn't he? 10-0 in his career when he started out. I'll have to look that up.
2 out, a ball and a strike on Scott Carl. Runner at second for the Brewers, down by a run. 1-2 now. I do know that Cal Eldred threw a lot of complete games in his first couple of seasons. We'll get people on the media guide for that information. Grounded to second base for Kent, gets Carl, and the Brewers strand a base runner in the second. We head to the third this afternoon from County Stadium. Giants lead the Brewers 1-0. You're watching Milwaukee Brewer baseball on MSC.
Fans join the Brewers for Henry's Upper Grand Slam Tuesdays. Receive a half-price Upper Grandstand seat all season long and an additional $1 discount with a Henry's salad dressing label. Call 933-9000 for tickets.
Henry Aldridge. Coming, mother. Remember that show?
No. What was it?
You don't remember Henry Aldridge? TV show? 50s?
Come on.
Ah, you're too young.
Yeah.
You young punks. Ball and 2 strikes on Bill Miller to start out the top of the 3rd. Giants on top of the Brewers 1-0. Everybody in action in the National League this afternoon, save a couple that begin later tonight and one that was banged because of rain. Two pitch home to Bill Miller. Little chip shot back to the pitcher. Carl picks it up, guns him out.
Your attention, please. Jay Boone. Report to
Well, as this game goes on, hopefully Scotty's going to get his control. Pretty good palm ball right there. Comebacker, easy out for Scotty. So far, it's been that palm ball that's gotten Scott out of some trouble today.
One away for Barry Bonds. San Diego at Pittsburgh rained out this afternoon. Mets are at Cincinnati with a 5-0 lead. They're underway. St. Louis on top of Philadelphia 2-0 early. Grounded to second base for Vina. 2 away and still Bonds hitless in Milwaukee.
Not a bad time to be seeing the Giants. Barry Bonds not hitting the ball very well. Really doesn't seem like he's getting good swings. All the good swings that he's had, the balls have been going foul. Good sign. I would imagine next time we see the Giants here at County Stadium, it might be a different story.
Jeff Kent, the batter, now with 2 away. Houston and Montreal are underway this afternoon at Astrodome, USA. Later tonight, Atlanta's at Colorado. And Florida at Arizona. A matchup of a couple of clubs that are in a world of hurt early this year. Marlins checking in at 4-13. Arizona at 5-13.
Well, the team that surprises me is the Tigers in the AL Central. 3-12. There's a team that a lot of people thought would make a run out there. Maybe dethrone Cleveland this year, but off to a bad start. Got some talent over there.
Yeah.
Tony Clark. Got some pitching.
A couple of their big boppers aren't hitting early. Indeed, they're off to a rough start. 1-2 on Jeff Kent.
Another good off-speed pitch by Scotty, able to get out in front. Much different in the first couple innings. Good slider that time. Kent swings over the top of it.
Yeah, the Tigers in the American League off to a rough start. Montreal, Florida, Arizona off to a horrible start. The expansion Diamondbacks. There was a little bit in Baseball America magazine a month ago. A scout that chose to remain anonymous said, boy, it's a real shame to see the team that invented the game get off to such a bad start. Of course, a sarcastic remark.
Yeah.
And that has everything to do with the perceived arrogance, shall we say, that the Diamondbacks have exhibited in their first year as a major league club.
A little bit, I guess, has to do with the area. Has not had much Major League Baseball except for spring training in Arizona. Everything's so new, so much of a novelty. Taking batting practice is something that people made a big deal about. Just the mundane things that you do in spring training seem to be all new. And look at the way the Diamondbacks are doing things, and it didn't work out too well so far, has it?
No, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of support. Certainly, that the valley down there in Arizona has been without baseball. Once spring training ends, everybody goes to play Major League Baseball, and the fans of Phoenix are left holding the bag.
Yeah.
I think it's nice that folks are excited down there. Certainly, they have done their share of feather ruffling with the way Jerry Colangelo has gone about his business, spending a lot of money in the franchise's first year. big contracts to players perhaps in the back portions of their careers, such as Matt Williams, Jay Bell. There's ball 4 to Jeff Kent. Second time Carl has lost Kent to the walk.
Well, you want to pitch very carefully to just about the only hot hitter in the lineup, Jeff Kent. 3 base hits yesterday, and Scott doesn't want to give him anything good to hit.
Here's Charlie Hayes now. Hayes hit the ground ball in the first inning with the bases loaded that would score Darrell Hamilton and give the Giants the 1-0 lead they currently enjoy. Top of the third, 2 away, and a runner aboard against Scott Carl.
Another off-speed pitch by Carl gets Charlie Hayes out in front. Hayes has gotten off to a slow start. He does have the 9 RBIs, so he's been very productive in his 3 hits this year. And again, that's why you don't pitch to Jeff Kent.
Kent running, and Carl's got him picked off. To Jaha, to Loretta. And despite the move to first that should have had Kent nailed, some confusion down by the bag at second base leads to Kent getting in there safely.
No, that's Loretta's play all the way. The shortstop makes the play. It's short. And Scott Carl with a good pickoff play has Jeff Kent dead to rights. Jaha does his job, gets on the inside part, a bad throw. But Loretta was late getting to second.
Well, credit Jeff Kent with a stolen base. Certainly not a mistake that you want to have haunt you with 2 out in the inning. 1-1 on Hayes now. Boy, Carl had him nailed.
Well, as good as the defense was yesterday, hopefully that will not cost the Brewers a run. You're not talking about a guy that can burn the bases up in Jeff Kent. Should have been an out.
Grounded to Loretta in the hole, it's short. This should get Carl out of the inning, and does. Miscue on the pickoff. Doesn't mean a thing. Through 2.5 at County Stadium, still 1-0 Giants. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC.
Best of the best on the Fox Formula One auto racing. See racers from all over the world compete in the San Marino Grand Prix in Italy. Catch the power of Formula One racing coming up Sunday on April 26th at 12:30 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
The best of the best. Wasn't that Jean-Claude Van Damme shtick from one of those kickboxing movies?
Yeah. The best of the best.
Fernando Vina leads off the Brewer third. Top of the order for Milwaukee. Vina, Cirillo, and Jaha. The Brewers trailing Kirk Reeder and the Giants 1-0 early. Vina out in front, pops up. Brian Johnson discards a mask and records the out. 1 gone.
That's Kirk Reeder changing speeds, very similar to Scott Carl. Looked like a hanging slider. And second time Brian Johnson has had a pop-up to fight today. Stiff wind blowing in from left field is going to push a ball in the air around a little bit. Take nothing for granted. There's that flag, Old Glory, big one today. You got the big flag out.
That flag is huge. Cirillo now with 1 away and the base is empty. Kirk Reeder wearing number 46, as you can see in your picture there. But don't drop any change on the floor, because if you do, you're liable to miss him switching uniform numbers. Did it 3 times last year.
Superstitious?
Just a variety of circumstances. Began with number 42 last year, but gave it up after Jackie Robinson Day.
Yeah.
Certainly he could have chosen to keep number 42 because he was grandfathered in, as the Brewers' Scott Carl chose to keep 42. But after Scotty, there will be no more number 42s for the Brewers, as that number is retired. Then he gave up his next number when Terry Mulholland joined the Giants. switch numbers to accommodate the veteran.
Did he get a watch or something?
You know, I don't know. Is that
Normally
usually
guys
the way it
give
goes?
presents to get numbers. At least the big guys do. Rolexes, 10 grand, 12 grand.
Shoot, you could have any number you want. Did you ever have to give up your number?
No. Yeah, I gave it to Cal Eldred. Of course, Tony Migliaccio gave it to him.
Still 3-2 on Jeff Cirillo.
Well, ordinarily, when a young pitcher has a number, and as you mentioned, a veteran player comes over to that team, it's only courteous, I guess, protocol to ask him if he wants that number.
Grounded to third, flagged down nicely by Miller. They get Cirillo by a step at first. 2 away here in the third.
Pretty good play by Bill Miller. He's had pretty good hands at third base. He's made a couple of errors in this series, but they have been throwing errors. Cirillo rolls over on a changeup, and Billy Miller with a good, strong throw this time, right on the money.
Here's Jahan now, singled in the first. Johnny 2 for 5 in the series with the base hit today. Grounded to first base for Hayes. He does it himself, and it's a 1-2-3 third for Kirk Reeder, who has now set down 6 in a row. We head to the fourth from County Stadium today. Still 1-0 Giants. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC. This is the Brewers snapper mow him down inning. If the Brewer pitcher mows down the opposing batters 3 up, 3 down by any means, a lucky viewer wins a snapper walk mower valued at $350. If the Brewers do not have a 1-2-3 inning, you'll still win 4 Brewer tickets to an upcoming home game. Register to win by sending a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to the address on the screen, and you just might be a winner. We head to the top of the fourth. 6, 7, 8 part of Dusty Baker's lineup card against Scott Carl here. 1-0 Giants. It's Javier, Johnson, and Aurelia. A ball and 2 strikes on Stanley Javier. A run on 2 hits for San Francisco. Nothing on a hit for the Brewers through 3. Three walks by Scott Carl in this one this afternoon so far. More walks than he had issued in 3 starts prior to today's. Jammed him, a little pop up to short left. Loretta back from short, and it's behind him. Leadoff single by Stan Javier.
A pretty good pitch by Scott, able to jam Stan Javier, but Javier strong enough to loop it out of the reach of Mark Loretta. Tried to jam him with the cutter. He does it, but able to get a base hit anyway.
That'll bring up Brian Johnson now, walked in the second. Stan Javier, the switch hitter, better from the left side. Reaches base on the little knock to start the top of the fourth as a right-handed batter.
Stan Javier with good speed on first base. He's not afraid to steal a bag. Scott Carl's already shown a pretty good move. He's not bad at keeping runners close. Not only will he have a good move to first base, but alters his delivery a little bit. Will speed up once in a while, hold the ball. That's what it takes to keep base runners honest.
Stan Javier, father Julian Javier, former St. Louis Cardinal. In fact, Stan Javier named after one of his father's ex-teammates, Stan Musial.
Stan the man.
1-1 to Brian Johnson. Well, Scott Carl had that bases loaded situation with which to work in the first inning and really got out of it with only 1 run scoring. But so far, his left-handed starting counterpart, Kirk Reeder, has limited the Brewers to just 1 hit.
Most of the time when the Brewers hit the ball hard, it's right at somebody. Can't find a hole today so far. It's early yet. Here's Stan Javier. Started out with the Yankees. He could probably put together an all-star team in itself. We talk about Montreal all the time with all the good talent that ends up leaving Montreal, but the Yankees have had some good talent leave them as well, without really getting an opportunity to play. Jay Buhner, Willie McGee. Stan Javier certainly might not be in the class of those two, but pretty good ball player.
Two balls and a strike now on Brian Johnson. That one's hit well to left. Darren Jackson was playing shallow. He recovers, but Grissom's there as well, and Marquise puts it away. Grissom is the field general out there.
Yeah.
And he makes the play for out number 1.
Anything that he can get to, he's going to put a glove on it. You have to hit one with a cannon today to hit it out to left field. That wind blowing in very strong. That's why the outfielders can play a little bit more shallow, but you're bucking a pretty stiff breeze today if you're right-handed.
Shortstop Rich Aurilia now with 1 away, and Javier still aboard at first. Stan Javier's father, Julian Javier, one of Bob Uecker's ex-teammates with the Cardinals in the middle 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bob Uecker, a teammate of Stan Musial.
I bet you Uecker remembers Stan Javier as a little tyke running around the clubhouse. Nothing in 1 on Rich Aurilia. Rich Aurilia came up with the Texas Rangers organization. Came to the Giants a couple of years ago along with 6'7" first baseman Desi Wilson, who was up for a cup of coffee with the Giants a year or so ago in exchange for pitcher John Burkett in a trade that both teams seem to like. Nothing in 2. Aurilia hitless in the series, including his 0 for 1 here this afternoon. Javier with a conservative leadoff first on 0-2. Day off tomorrow, and then the LA Dodgers in town for 3 starting on Tuesday. First time the LA Dodgers will have been to County Stadium since '65. It's a pretty good Dodger team Bill Russell brings to County Stadium on Tuesday.
After a slow start, playing much better.
Boy, good pitching matchups for that one as well. Really a treat for fans here in Milwaukee. Ramon Martinez, Chan-Ho Park, and Hideo Nomo.
Yeah. Mexico, Korea, and Japan accounted for there.
That's right. Hideo Nomo just got rocked in his last start. Grounder to Cirillo at third, picks up Tavina for 1, back to Jaha, not in time.
Whoa.
Very close at first.
You don't see that very often. Fernando Vina unable to turn the double play. Well, it took Cirillo a while to get the ball out of his glove. And once he did, he got it to Vina in good shape, who made the turn. Remember, Jaha unable to stretch very well. He's got that strained hamstring. I don't know if that has any bearing, but Cirillo gets rid of the ball in decent shape. Fernando holds on to the ball a little bit longer than normal, but looked like Jaha was okay. Watch Fernando. Looks like he had trouble getting it out of his glove for some particular reason. Yeah, he gets spoiled watching Fernando out there. And when he is as quick as most other second basemen, you figure something's wrong with him. Wasn't the normal Fernando Avina turn at second base right there.
Well, that's what you call a bang-bang play at first. First base umpire Gary Darling, veteran official, right on top of it. 2 away for Kirk Reeder, the pitcher, who has a 1-0 count. One nothing Giants. Giants batting in the top of the 4th. Grounded towards the middle. Avina gets to it, smothers, but can't recover to make a play, and Reeder is aboard on what scored as an infield single.
Well, there wasn't anything Fernando was going to be able to do with it, even if he had caught it. Really had a pretty good jump off the bag, and he was going to be safe at second. There's no way you're going to get a throw at first base. So the pitcher does his job. He extends the inning. Watch Fernando. Even if he comes up with a baseball, there's no way he can make a play. Well, really, on second base, Reeder does his job and gives Darrell Hamilton an opportunity with a man on second base and 2 outs.
Back to top of the order, Darrell Hamilton. Runners at first and second for the Giants with 2 away.
And the pitchers have really held their own so far this year from what we've seen. We saw Trey Moore come up with a couple of base hits, 1 a double. Pitchers are swinging the bat fairly well. Surprising. Even our guys.
No question. Sean Estes swung the bat well for the Giants in game 1 of this series. Oral Hershiser, always a threat with a bat in his hands. Hershiser homered against the Brewers in spring training.
Trying to get back at a couple of the Brewers, huh? As many home runs as the Brewers have hit off Oral.
That's
Boy,
right.
Oral really threw well yesterday, though. Keeping the ball on the ground, gave up that 2-run home run.
Brewers able to beat Oral Hershiser yesterday, something they had been unable to do for about a year and a half.
Well, the Brewer pitchers, all the starting pitchers for the Brewers have a base hit. Jose Mercedes, the last starting pitcher to do that.
Aurelia and Reeder, the base runners, with 2 away. 1-0 Giants top 4. The 2-1 home to Hamilton, swung on and looped into short center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Scoring from second is Aurelia. Well, 3 hits in the inning against Scott Carl. None of them what you'd call scalded.
Well, all jam shots is what they are. Good pitches by Scott Carl, but up in the strike zone. And when a pitcher gets cheap hits off them, normally it's because they're up in the zone. Fastball up, but it's in. It jams Hamilton. If that pitch is down in the zone, it's a ground ball. So a lot of times when a pitcher complains about cheap hits, it's because he's up in the zone, and that's what happened there.
Duck snorts, dying quails, bloopers, Texas leaguers, cheapies,
Flares.
flares.
Dying quail. Did you
Anything
say
else?
that one?
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay. Those are all we can say here.
Judy's.
Yeah, okay. Tracy Austin. Lob shot.
Tracy Austin's.
That was a Tony Muster saying. Now the manager of the Kansas City Royals.
See, I knew you'd pop one out that would kind of break the mold there. 2-0 Giants. Bill Miller the batter now. And still a situation for Carl on the base paths. Reeder at second. Hamilton with the RBI knock at first. Ball and 2 strikes now on Bill Miller. 2 runs on 5 hits for San Francisco. Giant offense has been sputtering here at County Stadium thus far. They don't care how well hit those singles are, as long as they're scoring runs. It's put onto the score sheet the same way. 2-2 now.
Another good block by Mike Matheny. That's the palm ball. You can see Scott really trying to concentrate on getting that ball down in the strike zone. It's been the problem so far today. The
2-2 home. This is inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. You've got to wonder, although Scott Carl was given the clean bill of health after taking that comebacker at Montreal 5 days ago, you've got to wonder if in fact that has affected his performance here today. Uncharacteristically wild through the first 3+ this afternoon. Payoff home to Miller. Got him looking, believe it. Second punch out of the afternoon for Scott Carl as he strands a couple of base runners in the 4th. Giants do get a run. Middle of the 4th, 2-0 San Francisco. Kirk Reeder continues in the home half of the 4th inning. Matt Vasgersian, Bill Schroeder, producer-director Wade Rowland along with you this afternoon from County Stadium. And the Giants have scratched out a couple of early runs. 2-0 San Francisco as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Brewers have Burnitz, Grissom, and Loretta here in the 4th against Kirk Reeder. Among the leaderboards that Burnitz finds himself on after a couple of weeks worth of baseball here early in the season is batting average at home, hitting .417 at County Stadium this year.
And that continues a trend that he started last year at County Stadium. Of course, just about all the Brewers really feasted at home last year. One of the better home records in all of baseball. Jeremy's really starting to come into his own. Really hasn't tailed off at all from his great season last year. Off to a blazing start this year. Has slowed down a little bit, but you would figure that he's not going to continue that all year. Nobody can do that.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Burnitz.
Amazing thing about Jeremy, though, and I think this is part of the maturing process that he's gone through in the last couple of years, really takes the same attitude to the ballpark every day. Whether he struck out 3 times or hit a couple of home runs.
Grounded to second. Kent to his right throws him out.
There's a lot of that has to do with knowing you're going to be in the lineup every day. You don't really have to press a whole lot. And Kurt Reeder continuing to throw good quality strikes. Easy ground ball to second base.
So 1 away now for Grissom. After a 2-run double on Friday in the first game of the series, Grissom has been hitless. Two balls and no strikes. Grissom, the only Brewer in the starting lineup today that has ever faced Kirk Reeder. 1 for 5 against the Giants southpaw. Pops him up on a 2-0 pitch. Kent at the cutout for out number 2.
And Kirk Reeder really keeping the Brewer batters honest with that good changeup. And when he throws that fastball, it appears to be a lot quicker to the hitter than it actually is. That's why you see them just getting on top of the ball, and in Grissom's case here, just underneath. A good swing, but he's behind just a bit, and that's what that changeup will do for you as a pitcher. You don't get that extension on the fastball.
Here's Mark Loretta now. Kirk Reeder has retired 10 of the last 11 batters he's faced. Lost Loretta to that leadoff walk in the second, but that's about the only blemish. 1-1. He was so strong down the stretch last year for the Giants. A couple of the other Giants starters had tired. Grounded to Kent, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Reeder in the 4th. He has now set down 9 in a row. We'll head to the 5th. Still 2-0 San Francisco. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC.
Thunder, along with seniors 60 and over, order half-price Brewers tickets on selected dates by calling 933-9000, courtesy of M&I Bank. Or you can launch a personal website today, available only from M&I Bank.
Barry Bonds leads off the top of the 5th inning for the Giants. Giants on top of the Brewers 2-0. Bonds, Kent, and Hayes here for Scott Carl in the 5th. Now, Barry Bonds was held to exactly no home runs. Didn't get one in the first 12 games of the season this year. Then he heated up with home runs in back-to-back games against St. Louis and San Diego. But he has really cooled off once again since getting to Milwaukee. 0 for 9.
Just as soon let him stay that way for a while. Scotty's throwing a lot of pitches this afternoon, running deep into counts. That was his 82nd pitch already, and we're only early in the 5th inning. That's a lot for him.
3-1 pitch is popped up. Cirillo tracking it near the tarp. Look out. Don't go into the Vince Coleman act out there by the tarp. You've always got to beware. Thing will swallow you up if you let it. 3-2.
You can't give up any foul ball going down the left field line, even if it's way back into the stands with the way that wind's blowing.
Here's a payoff home to Bonds from Carl. Fouled away again. Remember on the first day of spring training this year, when it seems like it was an eternity ago, Barry Bonds told the assembled media that once he got to the 500 mark, 500 stolen bases, 500 home runs, he was going to call it a career. He quickly rescinded. That's grounded to second. Vigna boots it. A rare miscue by Fernando Vigna at second base, and Bonds is aboard.
Well, it's been a rough afternoon defensively for the Brewer infield. First, the thwarted pickoff of Jeff Kent. This time looks like a routine play for Fernando. He has to go deep in the hole, but this is the play that he's going to make 99 times out of 100. Just literally kicks it.
So Bonds aboard to lead off the 5th. He's a threat to run. Has a club high 4 stolen bases this year. And now it's Jeff Kent. Kent has walked in 2 plate appearances against Carl this afternoon.
Yeah, that's the first time in this series that Barry Bonds literally has been on base. Hasn't been on with a fielder's choice. First time, and it's an error. You're going to keep that stolen base count down when you do that, huh?
Yeah, no question. You see how aggressively he measures off against Carl here. For all the flack that Barry Bonds gets, one thing that you can't touch him with, certainly the results, the numbers. He's gotten some grief from various members of the media, fans in San Francisco, about taking himself out of games at times earlier in his career, but he really is a proven Iron Man. He's appeared in every game so far this year for the Giants, and as a Giant, he has appeared in 749 of the Giants' 762 regular season games that he's been on the roster for. High fly ball into left. Boy, that wind is knocking him down today. Jackson for out number 1.
On a normal day, that might have a chance to get out of the ballpark. Kent got underneath it, but normally on day games, the wind blows out to left field. And believe me, if you're a right-handed hitter at County Stadium, you come to the ballpark during the day, you look and see which way that wind's blowing. Doesn't blow in very often during the day, but today it is. It's a pitcher's wind.
One out for Charlie Hayes now. Charlie Hayes has had an unusual major league career as far as the uniforms he has worn. Originally drafted and signed by the Giants, broke in with the Giants in '88, then went to Philadelphia, then to New York, then a couple of years with the Rockies, then back to Philadelphia, to Pittsburgh, back to New York, and eventually back to the Giants.
Yeah.
Line to right, a base hit for Charlie Hayes.
Well, Charlie Hayes has always been able to hit the baseball. It's his defensive columns have followed him around from team to team. That's a pretty good swing on a pitch down in the strike zone. Fastball out away from him. It's a bullet to right field. That's a good swing. No cheapie on that one.
6 hits for the Giants so far. Runners at first and second. And pitching coach Don Rowe emerges from the Brewer dugout. He wants to chat things over with Carl. The Brewers have right-hander Steve Woodard up in the Brewer bullpen now. Runners at first and second. Stan Javier, the scheduled hitter. He's 1 for 2 against Carl this afternoon. The switch hitter will bat from the right side. As you see Steve Woodard in the bullpen.
That's probably why Don Rowe's going out there and Phil Garner isn't out there making a pitching change. As we mentioned, a lot of pitches thrown by Scott today. Over 90 in the 5th inning. He wants Stan Javier to hit right-handed. As Matt mentioned earlier, he's a much better hitter from the left side of the plate. This might be his last hitter today. The right-handed hitting Brian Johnson on deck.
Scott Carl looking for the ground ball off the bat of Stanley Javier that may get the Brewers out of the inning. Like Jeff Kent, another aggressive hitter, looks for first pitch fastballs. Let's see what Carl has on his first offering to Javier. Swung on, fouled away. Bonds and Hayes aboard for Javier. 1 away. Top of the 5th. Giants on top by 2. Ground ball through the hole to the left side. Jackson's throw home on Bonds trying to score is sitting there waiting for him. Believe it. D-Jax airmails a strike to Mike Matheny, and Bonds didn't have a chance.
All right, Darren Jackson has done a heck of a job defensively in left field. Some great catches. This time really gets a good break on this ground ball through the hole. He charges it and makes a perfect throw all the way on the fly. There's where that wind is going to help a left fielder. Jackson able to play a little bit more shallow than normal. Able to cut Bonds down at home plate, and Matheny blocks the plate for him.
Ball is there waiting for Bonds by about 2 or 3 seconds.
See you later.
Bonds just did not have a chance there. 2 away. Big play. Hayes takes third on the throw home. Javier aboard on the base hit, and now it's Brian Johnson.
Now, if this is a normal day and the wind isn't blowing like it is, Jackson would have been deeper in left field and might not have been able to throw him out. You have to take every advantage that you can in this game.
0-1 on Brian Johnson. Good block by Matheny. Rich Aurelia waiting on deck for the Giants. This is the guy Carl wants right here. Good play by Carl on the shot back up the middle. If Scotty doesn't make that play, that might get through and score a run. Scott Carl flagging him down back up the box. Nothing in the Giant fifth. Midway through this afternoon's from County Stadium, 2-0 San Francisco. You're watching Brewer baseball on MSC.
First of all, a trivia question for today. Who holds the Brewers record for the most innings pitched in one season? Most innings pitched in one season by a Brewer. I know you know that, Matt.
I think I do know that one, actually. You know how I know that?
How's that?
I just heard you say it.
Okay. It counts.
I'm not going to lie to you. Darren Jackson lead things off in the bottom of the fifth inning. And how many times in the game of baseball do you see the guy who made the great play lead off the next half of the inning?
That's Tuesday. He's going to be here.
Oh, that wasn't Scully.
Oh, no?
No, I can do a better Vinny than that. Come on.
Who was that?
That was just, you know, Ronnie Radio from somewhere in the South.
Wow.
That was actually, you know what that was? That was Roy Firestone's impression of a minor league baseball game. You ever heard him do that?
No.
He has Roy Firestone, quite an accomplished stand-up comedian. He does a great shtick where if you're driving through the South on any given day in the summer and you're tuning in on your AM radio, you'll hear about 5 or 6 guys speaking that way doing a baseball game.
Yeah, minor league baseball.
Oh, swing on a miss. They got him.
It's not Vince Scully?
No. Jackson with a ground ball to short. Aurelia there for it. And there's one away for Kirk Reeder in the fifth, who just keeps mowing him down. That's 10 in a row set down by the Giant left-hander.
Well, a lot of ground balls. A couple of ground balls to second base in the fourth inning. Again, the Brewer hitter is just a tick out in front or behind. Not sure about what's coming off of Kurt Reeder. Really establishes that uncertainty with a good changeup.
Mike Matheny now. Michael popped up to his catching counterpart Brian Johnson in the second. Two runs on 7 hits for San Francisco through 4.5. With the Brewers, no runs on just 1 hit against Kirk Reeder this afternoon. He's been outstanding. Full count now on Mike Matheny, 3-2. Scott Carl, the pitcher, waiting on deck. Reeder out of the wind. 3-2 pitch to Matheny, hit well to center field. Hamilton back on it. Shy of the track, puts it away.
Your attention, please.
Well, no money out in that outfield today. You've got to hit one to right field. Left-handed hitter will get a little bit of juice from that win today, but center field normally not a good place in County Stadium to hit them, and certainly not today.
Hey, there's Dwayne Kuiper, a member of the San Francisco Giant broadcast team, a native of Sturtevant, Wisconsin.
Yeah, pretty good infielder in his day. Dwayne Kuiper, good guy.
Good guy.
Yes, he is.
Good guy to have around. Former Giant, former Cleveland Indian.
Gave us some brownies before the ball game that the family brought up to him.
Yeah.
They were good.
He's been happy to be back home here this past couple of days.
He was an Indian, wasn't he?
Yeah. Working over there in the Giant TV booth with former Giant pitcher Mike Krukow. Been fun to have those guys around the past weekend. That slap to shortstop. Aurelia's there, and once again, Kirk Reeder makes quick work of the Brewers. 12 in a row set down by the Giant left-hander. We've played 5 today from County Stadium, 2-0 Giants. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC.
For all your golf action, see the best in the Midwest. Hit the greens at the Midwest Team Golf Championship. Coming up, it's Hazeltine versus the North Oaks Country Club. Tonight at 9 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection. Top of the 6th inning. Brewers down 2-0. Kirk Reeder has the bats of the Brewers all bottled up today. Rich Arilla, the leadoff hitter, punches one into deep center field, but nothing doing out there today. Marquise Grissom makes the catch. Scott Carl hasn't thrown the ball all that bad today, down 2-0. A couple of jam shots back in the 4th inning cost him a run.
Just a little too far under it for Rich Arilla. You hit that well, but again, the wind is knocking down everything in left and left center. I don't believe we've seen a ball hit to right field this afternoon.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, Kirk Reeder, who has a base hit and a sacrifice bunt. Pretty productive day for the pitcher, Reeder. Throwing the ball very well. Good fastball, good changeup. He's shown the ability to swing the bat a little bit as well. Drag bunts, foul. Now you talked about the Brewers, Matt, being 11-5 and 6 games over 500. The most games the Brewers are over 500 last year was 8-4, and that was on April 27th. Gives you an idea of the good start that the Brewers have gotten off to this year. Never over 6 games over 500 last year.
Well, you know, it's not that I don't trust you, but when you said that before we went on the air today, it just sounded so goofy. I went back and double checked, and I'll be darned if you're not hitting that right on the head.
Yeah. Fouled away, still 1-2. Well, as a matter of fact, when I mentioned that to John Greenberg today, it kind of surprised him as well. Brewers media relations director, the guy that's in charge of digging up all the stats, along with Liz Krieger and J.C. Dawkins back there in the department. 1-2 pitch, fouled off. And Greenberg came in right at game time and said the last time the Brewers were 6 games over 500. When do you think that was? There's John Greenberg.
Ah, a rare occasion where he's not stuffing nachos in his trap.
Bob Betts on the right of your screen. Liz Krieger, his assistant, on the left.
Doing her best Jackie O impersonation this afternoon for
Jam shot to left. And Darren Jackson makes the catch. 2 down. That'll bring up the top of the order in Darrell Hamilton.
Center fielder, Darrell Hamilton.
Little inside-out stroke by Kirk Reeder. He looks like he can handle the bat a little bit. Little inside-out swing. Last time he got a base hit up the middle. Pretty good athlete.
Can't really let up on any of the pitchers in these National League lineups. I mean, we have seen it time and time again. They certainly don't look like 300 hitters out there, but anybody can get you at any time.
Well, you just can't lay fastballs down the middle. Some of these guys have gone through the minor leagues batting, unlike what the Brewers have gone through. Anyway, the last time the Brewers were 6 games over 500. September of 1992.
Yikes.
It's been a while.
Come on.
Yeah, John Greenberg. That's his stat of the day. 1992.
And that was a very good team in Phil Garner's first year in Milwaukee in '92.
Brewers won 91 games. Wow. It gives you an idea of the great start that the Brewers are off to. And doing the most of that damage, most of those wins on the road. 7-2 on the road, 4-3 here at County Stadium. Up in the bullpen, the right-hander Steve Woodard and the lefty Mike Myers. You're going to see Mike Myers up in the bullpen just about every day. The only left-hander that Phil Garner has to go to out there. And you got to believe that's not going to last forever. Brewers are trying to find another lefty. 1-1 pitch, fouled away.
Hardest working man in show business so far is Mike Myers.
Yeah. And again, yesterday he came into the ball game, did Mike Myers, pitched to 1 batter. It was a close game, 3-1 ball game. Used him for 1 batter, took him out. It really ties you up. Just missed the outside corner. 2-2. 2 outs, nobody on here in the 6th inning. Scott Carl, although he has thrown a lot of pitches this afternoon, seems to have things in order, only giving up 2 runs. I mentioned Darrell Hamilton coming back here to County Stadium. No big deal to him. He came back here with the Texas Rangers after being a Brewer for a long time. 2-2 pitch, fouled away. We'll do it again.
Hamilton has become a very important player for Dusty Baker's Giants. It's an interesting number Last year, the Giants were 65-47 when Hamilton started. In other games, 24-25.
He sliced down the line right to Jeff Cirillo. Nothing doing. Easy inning for Scott Carl. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Brewers need some runs, down 2-0. Trivia question: who holds the Brewers record for the most innings pitched in one season? Matt? Who would that be?
Jim Colburn.
I think you're right.
Bang!
1973, 314 innings. I believe he was a 20-game winner that year.
Bring it. Bring on the trivia.
Well, it's time for the Brewers to get something going. 6th inning, 2-1. I should say 2-0 in favor of the Giants. The Brewers have the top of their order up. Vinas, Cirillo, and Jaha count 0-2 on Fernando. Hey, Kirk Reeder has really done a nice job using 2 pitches, mainly a fastball and a good changeup. 0-2 pitch down in the dirt.
I have a quote for you. Warren Spahn, former Brave great. Quote, "A pitcher needs 2 pitches. One they're looking for, one to cross them up."
And one they're not looking for, and hopefully you throw that one every time, right?
You got it.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and there goes the bat off the Brewer dugout. Looks like everybody's all right down there. Have to wait and see. Oh, rare strikeout for Fernando Vina. You don't see him swing and miss all that often. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
I'll tell you, generally when a guy throws a bat into the stands, you see fans clear out. But one guy sacrificing life and limb behind the home dugout, actually diving for the bat. Luckily, it skipped on the top of the dugout and it got into the stands rather harmlessly. Boy, we've seen a lot of that this year.
That'll bring up Jeff Cirillo, hitting this in a couple of plate appearances. Lined out to center his first time up and bounced to third. Time to get something going here at County Stadium. Bottom of the 6th inning, running out of outs. Brewers winners of the first 2 games of this series. Line drive up the middle. Nobody's going to get that one. Good piece of hitting by Cirillo. Takes the fastball right up the middle, and the Brewers have their first base runner in 14 batters.
That's what we're talking about right there. Jeff Cirillo making a nice adjustment at the plate. Over the inside half, Jeff pulls the hands in a little bit and spanks it back up the middle. And as Bill mentioned, it ends the streak of 13 in a row set down by Reeder.
That's the first base runner since Mark Loretta led off the 2nd inning with a walk. Gives you an idea of how well Kirk Reeder has been throwing today. That'll bring up John Jaha. Line drive to left field, but right at Barry Bonds in left. Boy, John Jaha got all of that one, but right at the left fielder.
Well, let me tell you, Jaha, Cirillo, Burnitz, they've been hitting the ball well today, but right at people. Here's an Adam ball. Johnny extends, hits it on a line right to Bonds, however, an easy play. That's
one of the few at-bats that the Brewers have been right on one of Kirk Reeder's offerings this afternoon. He has had him off balance all day long. I'll bring up Jeremy Burnitz, a fly out to left and grounded out to second base. 0 for 2. Pitch up high.
Jeremy's hitting 3 straight. Would love to keep that hitting streak alive here with a runner aboard. The Brewers just have not had a whole lot of opportunities against Reeder today.
Well, the best opportunity came in the 1st inning. Strike right down the middle. Well, now 1st and 2nd back in the 1st inning. Burnitz flew out and Grissom grounded to second base. Other than that, there's really not been a whole lot going on offensively for Milwaukee today. 1-1 pitch. Up high.
Marquise Grissom on deck for the Brewers. You'd like to get a right-hander a crack at Reeder here. An important at-bat if Burnitz can get on with 2 away.
Oh, pitch right at the knees. That'll even the count at 2-2. Well, the one thing you'd like to see if you're a Brewer is Kirk Reeder out of the ball game.
Boy, borderline strike call right there at the knees, but credit Steve Ripley. He's been calling that one all day.
2-2 pitch, 2 outs. Foul ball left side. Well, giving it a run, but just out of play. Well, somehow you have to figure the Brewers got to find a way to get to that bullpen. Bullpen has been doing a job, but certainly it can't be do much better than Kirk Reeder is this afternoon.
That's true. As good as the Giant bullpen has been, it's almost like a choose your poison situation. And Reeder has proven unhittable so far today. Giant bullpen with a 1.67 ERA to lead the National League bullpen situation. Almost rather take your chances there.
Ground ball to second base. Ken has it. He'll go to first for out number 3. And again, the Brewers come up with nothing off of Kirk Reeder. Reeder cruising through 6. Brewers down 2-0. The Insurance Autograph Fridays. Each week prior to Friday's game, receive a black and white Brewers picture card and get it autographed. Join 6 to 10 players and Ohio Casualty Insurance every Friday all season long. Call 933-9000.
Third baseman Bill Miller.
Well, a great crowd has turned out in support of the Brewers here this afternoon. So far, they have watched a masterful opposing pitching performance by left-hander Kirk Reeder. Brewer left-hander Scott Carl hasn't been so bad himself. Unfortunately, he has had no support behind him. Bill Miller leads off the 7th, grounds to Loretta, 1 away. 2-0 Giants. Top 7 already today.
Well, Scott Carl had thrown a lot of pitches entering the 5th inning, but has certainly settled down, getting a lot of first pitch, second pitch outs. That's the way you stay in a ball game.
Here's Barry Bonds now, 0 for 3 today, 0 for 10 in the series. As Bill mentioned, he reached on the error in the 5th, and it was the first time he's seen first base here at County Stadium.
I got a trivia question for you.
What do you got for
How many hot dogs have been served at County Stadium in the first 2 games of Spring Madness?
Oh, man.
Dollar hot dogs, dollar Cokes.
All right, I'm going to do a quick bit of deciphering here, as Jethro Clampett used to call it.
Just had it up on the scoreboard.
All right, $1 a pop. We had 25,000 people here yesterday. We had, I would guess, about 41,000.
Wow. You saw it, didn't you?
No.
Come on. That's right on the nose. You saw it.
I have a sixth sense about me when it comes to hot dog consumption.
Oh, man.
It takes one to know one.
That's pretty good. Even if you did see it, I'm surprised you can remember it.
3-0 on Barry Bonds with 1 away. Nobody on in the 7th. 3 balls and a strike now. Bobby Bonds, former coach here with the Giants under Dusty Baker. Still very much involved in the San Francisco Giants day-to-day operations, although no longer on the field in uniform. And there's Barry Bonds' first hit of the series.
Second baseman Jeff Kent.
Looks like Phil Garner has seen enough. Scott Carl, after 6 1/3, looks like he's gone.
Well, a pitch down out over the plate. Looked like it was right down the middle, and Barry Bonds able to center that one. Pretty good pitch for Barry. You're going to usually see him as the weather warms up and he warms up. That might end up in the bullpen at some point in the season, but
Steve Woodard.
right now a base hit.
Right-hander Steve Woodard gets the call from the bullpen, and Scott Carl is through after 6 1/3 this afternoon. Scotty pitched well yet again today. Again, a question of just not having any offense behind him. He'll be done having allowed the 2 runs on 8 hits. He leaves with a runner aboard and 1 away here in the 7th. That runner, Barry Bonds, is his responsibility. Enters Steve Woodard from the bullpen. A pitching change, the first of the afternoon. We'll be right back. Draft National League scoreboard. In the 8th, the Mets pounding Cincinnati at Synergy Field. San Diego at Pittsburgh rained out. As you take a look at the rest of the National League ledger, everybody else in action save a night start. Double header between Atlanta and Colorado today as well. So a busy day of baseball in the National League. Steve Woodard on in relief. Bonds running on the first pitch from Woodard to Kent. And it's an easy stolen base for Barry Bonds.
Well, you got to hold a guy like Barry Bonds on, but Mike Matheny In his haste to get rid of the baseball, Bonds got a good jump, not able to come up with the ball in the bare hand. Doesn't take long for Bonds to get a full speed. Pretty good speed down there.
So an RBI opportunity now for Kent, and the count at 2-0.
Well, it's been a long time since Steve Woodard has been in a ball game, all the way back to last homestand. It's been 10 days. Last pitched on April 9th.
The numbers on Woodard through 3 games. Had a couple of relief decisions in his first 2 appearances in the year, and then pitched well in an emergency start situation on the last homestand. Boy, a look into second, and it looked like the Brewers had Bonds napping. Unfortunately, it scored as a balk to Steve Woodard, and Bonds gets third base.
Well, you can't pick up your front foot if you're straddling the rubber. Woodard standing there on the rubber as if to deliver a pitch. Watch the front foot move first. That's a balk. You can't do that. If you're going to make a move, you've got to pick up that back foot, pick it up off the rubber, and then turn. And Woodard didn't do it.
So the infield will come in for the Brewers now. And Kent has gone from looking for the base hit to looking merely for a fly ball now. And it's 2-1. Bonds at third with 1 away. Brewers down 2-zip. And the way Kirk Reeder's been going, they can ill afford any more Giant offense this afternoon. Two and 2 now on Jeff Kent.
As you mentioned, the way Kirk Reeder has been throwing the ball, 2 runs looks like a lot. 3 would look like an enormous lead, and that's why Phil Garner has the infield in. He knows he can't give up much more.
Marvin Bernard with bat in hand.
Alex Diaz, ex-Brewer.
Here's the 2-2 to Kent. Got him swinging. Woodrow throws the slider. Kent out in front of it, 2 away.
And that's his strikeout pitch. You mentioned he hasn't been in the game in 10 days, and you wonder about his command, but this slider, perfect. Well, he goes straight down as it gets to home plate. No chance for Kent. That's a huge strikeout. Now you put the infield back with 2 outs and get yourself out of the inning.
Charlie Hayes, the batter. Hayes drove in the first run of the afternoon with that bases loaded ground ball against Carl in the first. He has since grounded to third and singled. Bonds at third now with 2 away. That's a fair ball. Mike Matheny grabs it, tags out Charlie Hayes. Giants shut down in the 7th. I'll take that baseball, thank you. Nice job by Steve Woodard in relief. 7th inning stretch at County Stadium. Brewers down a pair. You're watching Milwaukee Brewer baseball on MSC. The 7th inning with 1 away. Marquise Grissom leads off the inning against Kirk Reeder. Grounds out to shortstop as this inning gets off to a very quick start. So let's take a look at the Miller Genuine Draft American League scoreboard. Boston shuts out Cleveland. The Red Sox stay red hot in the AL East. Playing very good baseball are the Boston Red Sox. Check the rest of the American League scoreboard. We've got 1 away here, bottom 7. The Brewers trailed the Giants by a score of 2-0, and the story this afternoon has been left-hander Kirk Reeder. He has limited the Brewers to a season-low 2 hits through the first 7 innings. Check that, 6 innings so far. Really been masterful. At one point retiring 13 in a row. 1-1 to Loretta is popped up. Stan Javier in right. 2 away.
Well, the amazing thing about what Reeder has been able to do, it's been with 2 pitches, a fastball
Left fielder, Derek
He will
Jackson.
occasionally try and sink it, and then a very, very good changeup. This is the fastball, the four-seamer, and Loretta just out in front a little bit. That's what a good changeup will do for you. Out of the hand, the changeup looks like a fastball. The hitter has to wait back, and sometimes that's all it takes to sneak a fastball by you. He's done a nice job of that today.
There's Darren Jackson now. Jackson's 0 for 2. Well, the only 2 knocks the Brewers have been able to muster here today, singles by Cirillo and Jaha. That one's heading for the corner and over Javier. Score it as a ground rule double for Darren Jackson as it bounds into the stands. And for the first time, the Brewers have an extra base hit against Kirk Reeder today.
Well, the first time the Brewers have had a man at second base since the 2nd inning. Well, you certainly got to take your opportunities when they come. A nice piece of hitting by Darren Jackson. One bounce, stays in play. Not exactly sure why they called it a ground rule double. Perhaps a fan grabbed it.
It looked as though it had bounded into the stands, but certainly that replay showed us otherwise. That was an unusual play out and right. Maybe it's stuck in the padding and Javier stuck the hand up quickly.
Well, Gary Darling was right on the call.
Well, regardless, it goes as a ground rule double for Jackson. Mike Matheny now with 2 away. Matheny 0 for 2 against Reeder so far. Darren Jackson has now hit in all 3 games he has started in the series. The double here, his first extra base hit of the season.
Let's see if Reeder decides to pitch carefully to Mike Matheny. Scott Carl on deck, but you figure in this situation, Phil Grant will go to a pinch hitter. I should say Steve Woodard. There he is. There's Woody.
2-0 to Matheny. Swung on and grounded through the hole on the left side. They're going to wave D-Jacks home as Bonds bobbles in left. 2-1 Giants.
Now there you go, Mike Matheny. Those are the RBIs that he's going to have to come up with this year. Kirk Reeder decides to throw a strike to the number 8 hitter with the pitcher spot due up, and Mike Matheny cashes in. Good piece of hitting by Mike. Just finds a hole between the hole and short and third. Barry Bonds charging hard. The ball goes under his glove. Good piece of hitting. Look like a changeup out over the plate, and Matheny slaps it into left. And Darren Jackson scores standing up, 2-1.
Well, a 6 2/3 inning mystery spun by Kirk Reeder has finally been solved in part on back-to-back hits. The double by Jackson, the RBI knocked by Matheny. And it's suddenly a not-so-comfortable 1-run Giant lead. And Dusty Baker wants to go to the bullpen. Reeder just dominated the Brewers for 6 2/3. They string together back-to-back hits for a run, and Reeder's gone. The Giants will pull the double switch as Dusty Baker calls for a left-hander out of the bullpen. Mark Newfield is in the Brewer on deck circle. Getting good. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Well, here's the replay of the ground rule double by Darren Jackson. See one bounce, and it looked like a fan touches the baseball. You see the fan reaching over the fence. There it is. Actually, it hit the fan unknowingly. Bounded back in the field of play. Good call by Gary Darling, the first base umpire. Hustled down the line to make that correct call.
Been a very interesting inning so far. The ground rule 2-out double after fan interference with Jackson's AB. Mike Matheny comes through big and finally solves Kirk Reeder with the RBI single. That signals Reeder's departure. Dusty Baker makes the double switch. JT Snow in at first base. He'll bat 9th. And the new Giant pitcher is left-hander Rich Rodriguez. Mark Newfield the pinch hit. Big situation here for the Brewers, and they have finally scored against the tough Giant pitching staff.
Now this is what we've been waiting for all afternoon long. You get Reeder out of the game and they bring in another left-hander, Rich Rodriguez. Hard thrower Rodriguez, good fastball, good breaking ball.
An interesting move that Baker would go to another left-hander in favor of Reeder. You've got to assume that Reeder reached a pitch count limit, thus the decision to go to the bullpen. But to go to another left-hander when Newfield had already shown himself in the on-deck circle, certainly an interesting move.
Well, Dusty Baker was probably worried about Phil Garner going with the power hitter Jose Valentin, who's sitting on the bench. He could hit left-handed, pinch hit for Newfield. He'd much rather have the matchup of Rodriguez against Newfield than a right-hander against Valentin.
Rich Rodriguez has been unscored upon in his last 2 outings after being touched for runs in each of his first 2 appearances this season. The interesting stat with Rodriguez is that right-handed hitters are 4 for 9 against him this year. Newfield checks the swing. The count now to 3-1. Kirk Reeder done after 6 2/3. Giant bullpen trying to hold up what has been a masterful pitching performance thus far. 2-1 Giants. Bottom of the 7th. On 3-1, Newfield lifts a fly ball to right. Javier retires the side. The Brewers do get on the scoreboard, however. Back-to-back 2-out hits makes it a 2-1 Giant lead.
Here's your Discover Card playback for today. A Darren Jackson throw to home plate to nail Barry Bonds trying to score. Good block by Mike Matheny, and let's just all be friends. Your Discover Card playback today.
Hey, we got a barn burner, a good one. 2-1 Giants, top 8. Matt Vasgersian, Bill Schroeder, producer-director Wade Rowland. 30,084 in through the turnstiles this afternoon, and it really has been a fun one to watch. Good defense, such as the play you just saw once again. And after a little bit of a dry spell, some timely hitting by the Brewers. A 2-1 Giant lead as we go to the 8th. A ball and a strike on Stan Javier leading off the inning against new pitcher Chad Fox. Grounded to second for Vina, 1 away.
Catcher Brian Johnson.
Chad Fox on in relief of Steve Woodard, who's done after 2/3 of an inning. Woodard throws scoreless baseball out of the bullpen.
Check
Chad
out
Fox
the. I'm sorry, Matt.
Worked last night. I'm sorry, Bill. My bad. We're getting excited.
17 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings, giving up only 9 hits. Chad Fox with that nasty electric slider. Well, a lot of people think that slider that Chad Fox throws is actually a split-fingered fastball. That's the way it reacts. Goes down more than it goes across.
Brian Johnson with a well-hit ball to left. Jackson shy of the fence, puts it away. Thank you, Mother Nature, for that huff and a puff out there in left field all day.
That takes more than that to get a ball out of left field. That's the second ball that Brian Johnson has hit today that on a normal day might be a home run. This one the best shot of the both of them. And Darren Jackson barely has to go to the track. Nothing doing out there today.
Tell you, off the bat, it looked like Brian Johnson had his second of the year. Not so this afternoon. Now it's Rich Aurelia. Let me get back to something that just came out of your mouth. That electric slider.
Yeah.
Can I use that?
Nasty. Yeah.
The Chad Fox
you get a
electric
shock. It gives you a shock when you try and hit it.
Grounded to short. Loretta to Jaha. Chad Fox, Dr. Evil gets him in order in the 8th. We go to the bottom half. Brewers down a run. You're watching Brewers baseball on MSC. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. $30,084 in the house this afternoon. It's been a great turnout over the weekend for a couple of good ball games with the San Francisco Giants. Fans coming out for the Spring Madness promotion. First time seeing the San Francisco Giants here in Milwaukee since September of 1965. Been a great weekend.
70,000 for the 3 games. Just about. not too shabby. Beautiful weather. That third baseline very popular, still in the sun. Everybody in the first baseline in shade.
We go to the home half of the 8th inning. The Brewers have their top of the order against left-handed reliever Rich Rodriguez, who got the Giants out of a jam in the bottom of the 7th, limited the scoring to just 1 run. Got pinch hitter Mark Newfield to pop out to right. Vina, Cirillo, and Jaha, 2-1 San Francisco. For the Giants, 2 runs on 8 hits. For the Brewers, a run on 4 hits and an error. Vina looking to extend a 6-game hitting streak. He's currently hitless this afternoon, 0 for 2. A lefty-lefty matchup here so far this season. Fernando Vina has gotten the better of left-handed pitchers, batting .520 against southpaws, good for 6th best in the National League. (2-0).
Fernando has taken the same approach to the plate, whether it be right-handers or left-handers, thinking about left field, not trying to pull the ball too much. And if you watch him, watch that front shoulder. It doesn't move at all. A lot of times a left-handed batter, when he's facing a left-handed pitcher, will pull away or pull off the baseball, and that lead shoulder will go toward first base. Look at that.
There's the 2-1 home to Nando. Swung on, slapped into left. That's trouble for the Giants. It gets past Bonds. Nando to second. The tying run in scoring position to lead off the 8th.
Well, if you take that approach, watch that front shoulder. He's thinking left field, and that's exactly where it goes. You try and pull that ball, it's going to be an easy grounder to second base. Gets by Barry Bonds, and the Brewers are in business. Lead-off double here in the 8th.
Dusty Baker to the bullpen once again. Cirillo, Jaha, Burnitz due up, the meat of the order. And an old favorite here in Milwaukee, right-hander Julian Tavares has surfaced from the Giants bullpen. Oh, this is good. A lot of history between Tavares and the Brewers. A pitching change. Don't you dare go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Fans, tune into MSC at 6 and 10 weeknights to Fox Sports News for scores and highlights throughout the conference. It's home team sports with a Fox attitude. Weeknights at 6 and 10 right here on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Table is set for some late dramatics this afternoon. Giants have gone to the bullpen, gone after a third of an inning as reliever Rich Rodriguez. He gives way to right-hander Julian Tavares.
Julian Tavares, the Brewers remember him from the Cleveland Indians. He's 2-1 with an ERA just under 4. He struck out 11 in just over 11 innings. He's got good stuff. Control has been his main problem. But you remember Julian Tavares a couple of years ago in the incident between the Brewers and the Indians. Albert Bell took out Fernando Vina at second base trying to turn a double play. The Brewers threw at Bell a couple times. Tavares threw a ball over Matheny's head, and a bench clearing brawl ensued. So a lot of history between Julian Tavares and the Milwaukee Brewers. Should be interesting.
That one was a full-blown melee with Tavares flipping an umpire over his back.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Cirillo the batter, nobody out. Tying run at second base, bottom 8, Brewers down a run. Fastball taken for a strike.
Jeff Cirillo is going to, one way or another, get Fernando to third base. Whether he does it with a ground ball to the right side or trying to bunt. That's his job right now. Get Fernando to third to tie the ball game. Let Jaha get an opportunity to do that.
Worth noting, Cirillo is 3 for 4 with 2 doubles lifetime against Julian Tavares. How about 4 for 5, baby? Base hit to right. Vina held at third. Something brewing, bottom 8.
Well, you're too good a hitter if you're Jeff Cirillo to give yourself up and sacrifice bunt. It hits the right field too well. He actually hit the ball a little bit too hard. Fernando had to freeze on the line drive. He had to make sure it wasn't caught and get doubled off. That's why he wasn't able to score. The first and third, nobody out here in the 8th inning.
Jaha now. Runners at the corners. Nobody out, bottom of the 8th.
How about one of those patented right center field home runs by Jaha? We know that it's going to be a little tough to hit one to left. Jaha's power is to right and right center.
Giant bullpen is busy behind Tavares. You can see the situation on the screen. 2-1 Giant lead. The left-hander in the front of your screen is Jim Poole. The right-hander Steve Reed. A couple of veterans warming back of Tavares for the Giants. 0-1 on John Jaha. Johnny has singled, grounded to first, and lined to left. The line out in the 7th against Breeder was well hit. Vigna and Cirillo at the corners with nobody out. 2-1.
Well, if you're John Jaha, you're looking for a fastball, middle away, something around mid-thigh, something you can hammer to right field.
Tavares from the stretch. Foul tip, 2-2.
And that's the pitch that Jaha wanted. Exactly what I just said. Fastball, middle away. It might have been down a little bit. And that's Jaha's strength. Anything out over the plate.
Julian Tavares this year has been charged with each of the Giants' 3 blown saves. Full count, 3-2.
Now decision time for Phil Garner. Do you send Jeff Cirillo? Swing and a miss, and a strike him out, throw him out could really put the inning in jeopardy. You send Cirillo, you stay out of the double play.
Burnett's on deck with the count full. 30,000 plus on their feet and getting loud and ornery. The payoff. Cirillo goes, doesn't matter, ball 4. And they're loaded for Burnett. A little
Jaha wasn't sure.
Boy, Johnny didn't know if the home plate umpire was going to ring him up there or not. It looked like a definite ball 4, but Jaha was going to make darn well sure before he trotted down to first.
Well, Jaha thinks it's in, and so does home plate umpire Steve Lipley, but not by much. Started on the corner, but tailed inside just a couple of inches. Wow. Tough pitch to take, huh?
Dusty Baker out to chat with Julian Tavares. A pinch runner at first base as you look at Joel Youngblood and Fernando Vigna talking about the situation. Vigna at third, Cirillo at second, and a pinch runner at first. That's Eric Owens in for Jaha. With Jaha's hamstring flaring up yesterday, you want a guy with good legs out there in case he needs to score from first.
Pitching for San Francisco.
Another pitching change for the Giants. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Brewers down a run. We'll be right back.
With Fox Baseball Thursdays on MSC, tune in for National League play as the Marlins battle it out against the Colorado Rockies. Game time is 6 p.m. on Thursday. For your complete coverage of the major leagues, tune in to MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
Big situation here in the bottom of the 8th for the Brewers. They have loaded the bases with nobody out. The Giants are on their 3rd pitcher this inning. He is veteran left-hander Jim Poole.
Jim Poole is a crafty veteran, very accustomed to situations like this. The earned run average is low, 2.25. 4 innings, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Well, the thinking here is you get to bring in the left-hander Poole to face Burnitz, and there's a pretty good chance you're going to see another pitching change after this at-bat. Got 2 right-handers coming up in Grissom and Loretta.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Brewers down a run. Jeremy Burnitz this afternoon is hitless, 0 for 3. All of the at-bats coming against the starter, Kirk Reeder. Jim Poole on relief. Here we go. Worth noting that left-handers are 3 for 6 against Jim Poole this year. He worked an inning and a third of scoreless relief yesterday, and is put out there in the fire today once again. Fly ball to right. Javier there for it. Has a full head of steam as he makes the catch. Vigna will tag and score. We're tied at 2 apiece.
All right, good at bat by Jeremy Burnitz. Lefty against lefty, and he does his job. A fly ball deep enough to score the tying run, and deep enough to move Cirillo to 3rd base. Fastball out away from him, just trying to get the ball deep enough to score the tying run. And Stan Javier makes the wise throw to 2nd base to keep the double play in order.
Well, here comes Dusty Baker again with the lineup card in hand. He's had the right-hander Steve Reed up in the bullpen for the past couple of at-bats. And as he brings the lineup card out for home plate umpire Steve Ripley, this may indicate double switch. And does. Rich Aurelia coming into the dugout. He's done in favor of Ray Sanchez. The double switch by Dusty Baker. Giants about to go to their 4th pitcher of the inning.
A lot going on in these National League games, don't you say? I like it.
Don't drop any change on the floor. You might miss something.
Sanchez, how did he get in the game? Where did he come from?
So Jim Poole is done after facing 1 hitter. And the Giants will go to right-hander Steve Reed for Grissom here in the 8th. Yes, Virginia, another pitching change. We'll be right back.
Enter at participating grocers to win the Clements Honorary Bat Boy Bat Girl contest. Have your photo taken on the field, receive Brewers souvenirs, and meet a player. Clements, it's easily the best.
Brewers have tied it at 2 apiece. Runners at the corners with 1 away, and the Giants have gone to the bullpen for the 4th time this inning. This time it's for right-hander Steve Reed.
Now, and here's a guy that can be pretty tough on a right-handed hitter from low 3/4. Well, if you're Marquise Grissom, you got to be thinking about right field in this situation. Hopefully elevate the baseball. Somehow get that run in.
So far, everything has gone according to plan for the Brewers in attempting the late comeback today. They loaded the bases here in the 8th. Jeremy Burnitz hits the sac fly to tie it. 1 gone, runners at the corners. The go-ahead 90 feet away. Grissom hitless 0 for 3 this afternoon. He's had plenty of looks at Steve Reed during his career and is 5 for 10 against the Giant right-hander. Little fly ball to short center. On for it is Hamilton. He'll make the catch. Tagging Cirillo. Throw to the plate in time to get him. The double play to end the 8th. The Brewers get 1 to tie. We go to the 9th, locked up 2 apiece.
In a situation like this, the offense tries to put the pressure on the defense, and Darrell Hamilton was up for the occasion. A perfect throw to home plate to nail the go-ahead run, Jeff Cirillo, and that's the pickup of the game.
J.T. Snow leads off the top of the 9th inning here for the Giants. Hits a fly ball to the track and left that Darren Jackson is able to track down for the first out.
Well, J.T. Snow, a much better left-handed hitter than right. Gives one a ride, but not much to do out there in left field today. You got to hit a ball a ton to even get a chance.
So with 1 away, Darrell Hamilton now. 2-2 tie, top of the 9th. Well, the Brewers get the run to tie it in the bottom of the 8th inning. But consider the circumstances. Bases were loaded with nobody out, and I think the Giants probably feel pretty good about just 1 run.
No doubt about that. But if you're Joe Youngblood and you're the third base coach, you've got to send him on that play. You can't count on a base hit. Runs have been few and far between, as have been base hits. And Darrell Hamilton made a good throw. A little bit either way. Brewers had had the lead.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Foul tip hung onto by Mike Matheny.
Well, this is just good old country hardball. Excuse the cliche, but he throws it right by him, right down the middle, about belled high. Darrell Hamilton normally is going to at least get a piece of that ball. Can't believe it.
2 out for Chad Fox. Bill Miller, the batter. After John Jaha was removed as a pinch runner, rather, Bob Hamlin is inserted in defensively here in the 9th. And it's strike 1 on Bill Miller.
Report to your car immediately. Thank you.
Bill Miller has singled in 4 at-bats today. Single came in the first against Scott Carl. The 0-2 from Fox misses outside. Looking to the Brewer, bottom of the 9th. Loretta, Jackson, and Matheny scheduled. Got him swinging. Couple of Ks for Chad Fox in the 9th. We'll go to the last of the 9th from County Stadium this afternoon, tied up 2 apiece. Brewers have Loretta, Jackson, and Matheny, as right-hander Steve Reed will continue for San Francisco. The Brewers have not led in this ball game. San Francisco scored a run in the first to go in front, 1 in the 4th to go on top 2-zip. Brewers got 1 in the 7th and 1 in the 8th to tie. 1 more wins it here, bottom 9, a 2-2 tie. This has been a great ball game here today from County Stadium.
All 3 of these games have been outstanding, I'll tell you. You want to hear a stat?
What do you got for me?
Those 2 strikeouts by Chad Fox gives him 19. Leads the staff out of the bullpen.
Heads up.
Cal Eldred has 18, a starter. You would figure a starter would lead the staff in strikeouts, but now Chad Fox has 19. Man.
That really is something. That'll make you stand up and notice. Loretta aboard the base hit to right. The winning run on base to lead off the bottom of the 9th.
No, if you can hit the ball to right field, you're going to end up hitting for a good average. Watch Loretta. Reed, tough on right-handers, takes the sinker, just inside outs it, gets himself a base hit to right, and the Brewers have the leadoff hitter on.
Darren Jackson, the batter. He scored the first Brewer run of the day after doubling in the 7th against the starter Kirk Reeder. He's thrown out a player at the plate. Lays down the bunt. Reed gets to it, goes to second, and they get the lead runner.
Oh, that's a good play by Reed. Didn't waste any time. Brian Johnson, the catcher, out there in his ear yelling second. If he hesitated a split second, never would have got Loretta at second base. That's just a good defensive play right there. Watch him turn around, no hesitation. Ball wasn't in the glove very long, and a pretty good play by Ray Sanchez. Ball looked like it went right by Mark Loretta.
So Jackson, the base runner at first now with one away.
Batting for Matheny, number 16,
And the Brewers will send a
Levis.
pinch hitter to the plate for Mike Matheny. It'll be Jesse Levis to swing it off the bench.
Well, Phil Garner pretty much in the driver's seat as far as pinch hitters. Dusty Baker has no left-handers in the bullpen. Rodriguez and Jim Poole have already thrown. And that's it, just righties. You got Levis, you got Valentine.
Steve Reed's going to keep his eyes on Darren Jackson at first. Jose Valentine has emerged from the Brewer dugout. He will bat next in the pitcher spot. Jesse Levis is hitless this year as a pinch hitter. 0 for 3. Last year, of course, set a Brewer franchise record for pinch hit at-bats. But look at the numbers overall for Levis. Off to a great start.
Yeah, a lot of that is coming into the game as a replacement for Mike Matheny. Getting a lot of base hits, swinging the bat very well. He's not afraid to go to left field, go the other way for a hit.
2-0 on Levis now.
Count is 2-0.
Two balls and a strike on Levis now.
And you can see the way Steve Reed is gripping the baseball. Had a great shot. One of the cameramen grabbed it. A nice tight slider. You can see the ball going in on Levis. That's the dead giveaway on the slider. You wonder if Darren Jackson at first base can't pick that up. There it is. Good shot right there. That looks like the sinker grip. Fastball. Yep.
I like it. 3-1 now on Levis. The base on balls would put the winning run in scoring position and bring Valentine to the plate. Three balls and a strike on Jesse Levis. Reed's 3-1 home in for a called strike. That'll fill it 3-2.
Reed decided to go with the short slider on a 3-1 pitch. Right down the middle. Well, Jesse Levis on 3-1 looking for the fastball. If you don't get it, don't swing. Well, you figure that Darren Jackson's going to be running 3-2 here with one out.
Punch to the left side. Good play by Sanchez as it almost rode up his glove, and he gets Levis at first.
That's okay. Now we got the go-ahead run at second base. Well, had Jackson not been running on the pitch, that might have been a double play. Jesse very slow getting down the line. Jackson on the move. He goes with the slider, bobbles it, no chance at second base, and a winning run on second base with two outs. Well, if you're Dusty Baker, choose your poison here. You want to go after Valentine or the leadoff hitter Fernando Vina? You make the call. You can elect to walk Jose in this situation, setting up a force on any base. And you go after the hot hitting Fernando Vina. What would you do?
I would defer.
Can't do that.
I'm not good on the spot like that.
Can't do that.
Dusty Baker wants to make sure everybody's on the same page amongst the infielders. He has already used Rodriguez, Tavares, Poole, and now Reed. Their stopper, Rob Nen, is up in the bullpen. Dusty Baker, like many managers, does not like to go to his closer unless he's got a lead to protect. That's certainly not the case now. Bottom of the ninth, 2 out. The winning run at second base, Jose Valentin to pinch hit.
Dusty Baker obviously thinking he'd rather go after the guy coming off the bench. Valentin's been sitting in the dugout for 9 innings. More of a strikeout threat than Fernando Vina.
One ball, 1 strike on Jose Valentin. One and 2. That time Reed picks up the outside corner.
A pretty good pitch by Steve Reed. Threw the slider on the 1-0 pitch. Then he goes with the sinker right on the outside corner.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Got him swinging. For the 3rd time already this year, the Brewers go to extra innings. Fans, when your life goes into extra innings, find the energy, feel your ginsana. The Brewers and the Giants going into extra innings for each club, their 3rd extra innings contest of the year. To the top of the 10th, Jesse Levis remains in as catcher. And a new pitcher for the Brewers. They go to right-hander Bob Wickman.
Well, Wickman's been in this spot before. Game tied up. That's how he got those 3 losses. Pitched very well in the 3 losses, however. It seemed to be one pitch that hurt him. 1.5 earned run average, 10 strikeouts in 12 innings.
Barry Bonds, the batter, fly ball to right. Burnett's there for out number 1.
There's a big out. Get Barry Bonds out on 1 pitch. Give Bonds what he's looking for on the first pitch. He's not afraid to go after it. Ball sank as it got to him. He got Bonds out on the end just enough to keep it in the ballpark.
Bonds, Kent, and Sanchez here in the 10th. Dusty Baker starting to look more and more like UL Washington every day. Kent also aggressively swinging on the first pitch. Gets into stands 0-1. Both the Giants and the Brewers are 2-0 in extra innings contests this year. The Brewers most recently on the 16th of April, just this past Thursday at Montreal, a 14-inning win.
Big win. Made that fly home a little bit quicker, didn't it?
Well hit to center. Grissom chasing, still going back, and this one is off the fence. Kent into second. That missed getting out of here by about 3 inches.
Well, it looked to me like it did. Looked like it went in the first row of those bleachers out there and bounced back over. Dusty Baker thinks it's a home run. They're going to call it a ground rule double. Let's see where this ball lands. Nope. No, it didn't. Top of the pad. Good call by the umpires. Top of the pad, then bound off the wire fence. That's the call. Good call. Boy, that looked like it went out of the ballpark. Man, we've seen a lot of umpires get fooled by that odd padding out there in the outfield, but a good call by Mike Winters, the second base umpire. Watch it hit right at the top of the padding, and it stays in play. That looked like a home run on normal speed.
Boy. He didn't miss it by much. Jeff Kent went down and got that pitch and drove it to the deepest part of the yard. He's aboard at second base. One away now for Ray Sanchez.
Well, the one thing we know about Jeff Kent, he likes the ball down. He can really go after that low pitch. Normally a righty likes the ball up.
Grounded to second for Vina. Kent to third as the play goes to first. 2 away. Sanchez retired 4-3.
Right fielder Stan Javier.
Well, a lot of sinkers, a lot of hard sinkers by Wickman, and you get a lot of ground balls right off the top of home plate, and Jeff Kent ends up at third base.
Kent representing the go-ahead run for the Giants. Stan Javier will turn around and bat from the left side. Javier 2 for 4 this afternoon. 2 hits came from the right side of the plate against the starter Scott Carl. The Brewers have used Carl, Woodard, Fox, and now Wickman in the 10th. On Javier.
Well, they're going right after Stan Javier right here. First base open. You got Brian Johnson, the right-hander, on deck, but they're not messing around. 0-2.
Stan Javier is just 1 for 7 lifetime against Bob Wickman. The 0-2 from Wiki. Misses outside, a ball and 2 strikes. Looking to the Brewers half of the 10th, and Wickman trying to get it there with the score still tied. Vina, Cirillo, and then the number 3 spot.
Good job by Jesse Levis. Boy, that was a tough ball to block. That was a slider that bounced about a foot in front of home plate. A great job. Trying to give the Giants a go-ahead lead right there. Boy, good job by Jesse. Doesn't matter if it's Matheny or Levis, they can both block the ball.
Two and 2 to Javier now. Ground ball, second base. Vina to Hamlin, inning over. Nothing for the Giants despite the well-hit one-out double by Jeff Kent. We go to the bottom of the 10th, still tied 2 apiece. Fans, join us for our next televised game this coming Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. Let me try it again. Fans, join us for our next televised game Tuesday at 6 p.m. Starting to catch up to me. Last night started.
You need your ginsana, man.
The Dodgers of Los Angeles coming to town here to take on the Brewers. LA Dodgers in town for the first of 3. Should be a great series, starting with Tuesday's telecast that fires up at 6 p.m.
Pitching batting in the 6th position, number 31, Rob Nen.
Pitching change for the Giants as we get to the bottom of the 10th. They've turned it over to their stopper, right-hander Rob Nen.
Well, Dusty Baker wants to stop it right here. Rob Nen, their closer, coming into the ball game, and he can bring it. 2-0 and earned run average at 1 in his 8th game today. Rob Nen, a strikeout pitcher. As you can see, Alex Diaz taking over in right field. Double switch by the Giants. Diaz will hit in the number 6 hole. Check that, number 8 hole. And then we'll hit in the number 6 spot.
Now the Brewers will have Vina, Cirillo, and Hamlin here in the 10th. Rob Nen, acquired by the Giants this past November. Acquired from the Marlins, rather, by the Giants in exchange for 3 minor league pitchers. Nen taking over the closer duties for Rod Beck, who departed via free agency for the Chicago Cubs. Tough customer is right-hander Rob Nen. During the past 2 seasons, only San Diego's Trevor Hoffman has amassed more relief man points among National League relievers than Nen. 14-4 with 70 saves over the last 2 seasons with the Marlins. 1-1 home to Vina. Ground ball to second. Kent to Snow, 1 away.
Well, Rob Nen, we talked about him being a strikeout pitcher, has 13 strikeouts in 9 innings. And the amazing thing about his numbers is only 1 walk. Normally a guy that throws hard is going to be wild. Vina gets on top of the fastball and an easy out. Only 1 walk. Not too bad.
Jeff Cirillo now. Jeff's got a couple of hits today. And despite 35 saves last year for the world champion Marlins, Rob Nen never really felt good about his mechanics. And that sounds unusual coming from a guy that saved 35 games and went 9-3. Well, he felt like he could have been better.
Well, he is a bit unorthodox. If you watch him land as he delivers the baseball, he actually steps twice before getting rid of the ball. You don't see that a whole lot, particularly from a guy that throws hard. He'll bring the leg up, put it down, then pick it up again and put it down and then get rid of the ball. You don't see that very often. Maybe that's why his mechanics were a bit shaky from time to time.
He's gone to 3-0 on Jeff Cirillo now. Hamlin waiting on deck. Burnett's in the hold. A couple of left-handed power hitters due up next.
Well, one of those borderline strikes on 3-0. There's some of the one Jeff Kent got caught on in the first inning.
Here's a 3-1 to Jeff. That misses in close, ball 4. So again, the Brewers have the potential winning run aboard.
First baseman, number 30, Bob Hamlin.
Bob Hamlin, the batter now.
And the Brewers have used just about everybody off their bench except for Bobby Hughes. No left-handers. Bob Hamlin replaced John Jaha at first base. So what you see is what you get with the Brewers lineup right now.
You saw the numbers on Bob Hamlin. He's been struggling to start the season. Has started just 1 for 20. A guy whose role during spring training, at least, was primarily your left-handed pop off the bench. Opportunity for him here with Cirillo aboard. 1 away, bottom of the 10th, a 2-2 tie.
Pretty good time to break out of it. Got some good speed on the bases, and Jeff Cirillo rattle one in the corner, and let's see what happens.
It was Cirillo who was thrown out at the plate in the 8th on Grissom's fly ball to shallow center. Jerked into the corner, foul. Well, the Giants led it 2-0 this afternoon until the bottom of the 7th, when the Brewers finally were able to break through against Kirk Reeder, who, despite a masterful 6 2/3 this afternoon, will not factor in the decision. The Brewers got the tying run across in the 8th. Certainly had a chance for more with the bases loaded and nobody out. But the Giant bullpen came on to do the job. Popped up, slicing towards the stands. Sanchez from shortstop puts it away. Tough play.
Boy, that's a nice play by Sanchez. You have to battle that wind. The sun has got to be in the eyes. You can see him wearing the sunglasses. And tough play for a shortstop, but he made it look easy. That was a fair ball.
Here's Burnitz now. His sac fly in the 8th would tie it 2 apiece. Boy, I can't believe there's going to be a whole lot of mystery here. Jeremy Burnitz likes to hit fastballs. Rob Nen throws a very hard fastball.
Well, the first time that Jeremy's been able to see a right-handed pitcher today. Let's see if Jeremy can't hit him with a baseball. The one thing that is coming into play now is, as we get into the 4:30 or so area, the shadows around home plate are going to create a problem for the batter. The pitcher is in the sunlight, the batter is in the shade. That ball goes from looking bright to getting a little bit darker. It's tough to see out there.
Burnitz has had 3 at-bats against Nen lifetime, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. To 2-1 now. Brewers looking for their 2nd series sweep this year. They swept a 4-game set at Florida the first week of the season.
You see those shadows as they go down the first baseline.
Into the corner and right. Cirillo to third. Burnitz keeps it alive in the bottom of the 10th.
Now the Brewers, for the 3rd consecutive inning, have an opportunity to take the lead here. Burnett's a pretty good swing on 3-1, able to take the ball into right field, pitch out away from him, and gets enough of it to get Cirillo to third base. Now you score with a wild pitch, a pass ball, a balk, an infield error. How about a base hit?
Sure. Well, Marquise Grissom's the batter. He was the extra innings hero on Thursday at Montreal. Had the game-winning hit in the top of the 14th. Bottom of the 10th here today. 2-2 tie. The winning run 90 feet away with 2 out. Boy, and that one almost gets past Brian Johnson.
Boy, he wanted to, didn't he? Rob Nen reared back and tried to throw that one as hard as he could, about put it on the backstop. That'd count.
Should it get that far, Mark Loretta waits on deck. Grissom is hitless today, 0 for 4. Popped him up. Sanchez in the infield. We'll play 11 innings. Nothing in the Brewer 10th. Nen strands a pair. We go to the 11th, still 2-2.
Coming up on MSC, it's NFL passing, it's NFL speed, it's NFL power, and it's all NFL Europe. Tune in for all the NFL action as the Scottish Claymores take on the Rhine Fire in the European League tonight at 5:30 on MSC, your ultimate sports connection.
We're in the 11th inning at County Stadium this afternoon. And the Brewers and Giants in the midst of a 2-2 tie. Brewers trying to sweep this Giants team and accomplish their 2nd series sweep this year. The Giants trying to avoid their first sweep of the season. Johnson tried to hold back that time, but commits 1 and 2.
And both teams have had opportunities in the last couple of innings to put a run on the board and can't come up with a big hit. That's a hard sinker that Wickman throws, dives in on right-handed hitters.
Fly ball to right. Burnitz is there for it. And there's one away in the 11th.
Right fielder number 1, Alex Diaz.
We gave you the numbers when we went to extra innings. Both the Brewers and Giants are 2-0 in overtime. More of a discrepancy when you look at each club's one-run record. Giants are 2-3 in games decided by 1 run. The Brewers 0-4. Alex Diaz now swing and a miss. It's the bottom third of the order here in the Giants' 11th. Johnson, Diaz, and Snow on deck. Chopped off the plate to short. Bare hand by Loretta. Throw not in time.
Now, it would have been a tough play for Mark Loretta had he been able to get a good grip on the baseball, but Alex Diaz runs pretty well. Hitting from the left side of the plate. Got a good running start. Once it got by Cirillo, it was going to be a tough play for the shortstop. He had bounced right off of home plate. The only play was a bare hand play. He made a nice one when it got him out, even if the throw was on the money.
So the Giants with an extra innings base runner once again. They had a 1-out runner at second in the 10th inning after the Jeff Kent double had missed getting out of here by about 3 inches. JT Snow now. Since coming on as part of a double switch, he's 0 for 1. You can look at that Brewers 1-run record, 0-4, from a couple of different perspectives. Yes, it tells you that perhaps there's an inability to win the close ones, but 4 of the 5 losses for the Brewers this year have been decided by only 1 run. They've never really been blown out.
Well, the amazing thing is, and that's so true.
Fly ball in the corner and left. Jackson there for out number 2.
There really hasn't been too many games where either team has had much of a lead. It's been 3-4 runs either way, and as you mentioned, the 1-run losses just means you're in ball games that you end up losing. The only big leads that any team has been the Brewers for the most part this year. Now, JT Snow gives this ball a pretty good ride down the left field line, and ball's starting to carry a little bit maybe to left field. Middle of the track, puts it away.
Darrell Hamilton, the batter now. 2 away. Grounded back up the middle past Wickman, a base hit. Diaz to second. That's the 3rd hit of the afternoon for Darrell Hamilton.
I'd much rather him get the hit this inning than his last time up in the 9th inning, when he was up with an opportunity to put the Giants ahead again. Fastball, just punches it up the middle. Pretty good speed on the bases for the Giants. Alex Diaz runs very well, as does Darrell Hamilton.
Bill Miller's base hit today came in the 1st inning. 1 for 5 on the day. Runners at first and second, 2 away. Top of the 11th inning, a 2-2 tie. Grounded to short. Good play by Loretta. To first. A scoreless 11th, turned in by Wickman and company. Again, the Brewers with a chance to win it in the bottom of extra frames. We go to the bottom of the 11th, still 2-2. The bottom of the 11th this afternoon from County Stadium. Brewers and Giants tied up 2 apiece. That's where we have been since the 8th. The Brewers scored the tying run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Have had opportunities in the 9th and 10th, but the Giants have gone into prevent defense and kept the tie in check. And the Brewers will look to break it here in the bottom of the 11th. Loretta, Jackson, and Levis against Rob Nen.
Well, both teams have stranded 20 runners today. The Giants have left 12 on, the Brewers 8. So there hasn't been lack of opportunity for either team.
Two balls and a strike on Loretta. There was Kirk Reeder to start for the Giants this afternoon, and he was really brilliant over 6 2/3 innings. Allowed just the 1 run on only 4 hits. Giants have since gone to Rodriguez, Tavares, Poole, Reed, and now Nen. 6 pitchers all told. Nen has gone 3-1 to Loretta.
When this game goes much further, you got to believe that Nen is not going to be able to go another inning. The closer normally throws 1 inning, maybe 2 tops, but that's it.
(3-1) to Loretta. That'll make it a full count, 3-2. After Nen, the Giants have Russ Ortiz and John Johnstone, and that's it.
Well, the Brewers have Mike Myers, a left-hander, Al Reyes, and Doug Jones left in the bullpen.
Darren Jackson waiting a chance on deck for the Brewers. Here's a payoff home to Loretta. He loses in ball 4. Looked like he took something off that pitch.
Well, the second walk of the game for Rob Nen, who came in his previous outings, had only a fastball, and you can see Nen knew it right away as soon as he let it go.
So Darren Jackson now, he has doubled in 4 trips to the plate. Jackson has hit in all 3 games of the series, his first 3 starts of the season, coincidentally, and he takes a strike from Nen.
Well, he's been doing a heck of a job since getting inserted into the starting lineup. Very effective defensively, getting some big hits like today. Got the Brewers going.
Made a diving catch Friday night to help ensure the save for Doug Jones in the 9th. Has thrown out a runner trying to score here today. Darren Jackson having a great series indeed.
And Jackson up there looking like he was going to bunt on the first pitch. Rob Nen, not an easy guy to bunt on. Good live fastball. Don't know really where it's going sometimes.
D-Jax pushes a bunt towards first. That's a dandy rolling foul. Good play by J.T. Snow.
Well, normally when the baseball starts out on the grass, it's going to stay fair, and that's where this one started. On the grass, hits something, rolls foul, and J.T. Snow wants to make sure it's not going to roll back. If it goes foul and then hits something and goes fair, it's a fair ball.
So Jackson behind 0-2. Let's see if the count takes the bunt play off here. Nen from the stretch with Loretta aboard and nobody out. Jackson swinging away, swinging to miss, strike 3.
Now the name of the game, execution, late, particularly late in the game. Fastball right down the middle, and Darren swings right through it. Brewers have not been able to sacrifice bunt the last couple of innings.
Jesse Levis now. Jesse grounded out in the 9th in his one and only at-bat today. Bobby Hughes has emerged into the on-deck circle. So with Hughes pinch hitting, that will mean that Phil Garner has indeed emptied out the entire bench.
Nothing left.
Put your cards on the table. Scott Carl and Kirk Reeder each pitched very well today as starters. Carl for 6 1/3, Reeder for 6 2/3. Neither one, of course, will factor in the decision as we're in a 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 11th. One and 0 to Levis. A day off tomorrow for the Brewers before the Dodgers come to town for 3. A day off tomorrow for the Giants before they continue the road trip by traveling to Pittsburgh. Big swing and a miss.
A good fastball by Rob Nen. High in the strike zone. Tough to lay off. That fastball very close to the eyes, and you see it real well, but you can't catch up to it. You got to make Nen get the ball down a little bit. Tough to do, though.
Back to the mound for Nen, to second for 1, back to first. We'll play 12 this afternoon. The double play ends the mini threat in the 11th. We'll play 12 innings here this afternoon. Take another look at our Miller Genuine Draft National League scoreboard. Mets bomb Cincinnati at Synergy Field. The football score. Giants over the Bengals, 14-zip. Cubs ed the Dodgers 2-1. In that game, Rod Beck recorded his National League high tying 6th save of the year. Ties him with Doug Jones for the National League lead. Barry Bonds will lead off the top half of the 12th. I have done my best to ad-lib a makeshift scorecard because mine only goes to 9 innings.
I see you over there.
And it looks like origami up here all of a sudden. I'm taping things together, stapler out, crazy glue. It's a mess. We'll try to keep it in check for you. Bonds, Kent, and Sanchez here in the 12th. In that Cubs game, Jeremy Gonzalez got the win over Ismael Valdez. Cubs keeping the heat on the Brewers atop the National League Central. Cardinals are doing the same. St. Louis a 3-2 winner at Busch Stadium this afternoon over the Phillies. Swing and a miss to Barry Bonds, strike 3.
Nice pitch by Wickman. Looked like the slider, and he had Barry Bonds way out in front. Fooled him completely. A good pitch. You hang that pitch, and Bonds can hit it a long way, and that's a good located slider right there. Way out in front, fooled, lets the top hand go, and see you later.
Bonds 1 for 6 this afternoon. 1 for 13 in the series at Milwaukee. Jeff Kent, the batter now. He hit the booming double against Wickman back in the 10th. That missed getting over the fence at the deepest part of the ballpark by maybe 3 inches.
Yeah.
To Kent, swing and a miss. Giants have some bullpen activity. John Johnstone, the right-hander, up in the Giant bullpen. And as you speculated earlier, Bill, doubtful we'll see Nen for a 3rd inning. Ever calm Bob Wickman from the stretch. The 1-1 home to Kent. Misses high and away.
Well, that's the chance you take when you put your closer in. You give him out there a couple of innings figuring your team's going to score. And you see John Johnstone getting loose.
Kent with a fly ball to right. Jeremy Burnitz is there for it. 2 away for Wickman in the 12th. Tell you what, that off day tomorrow for both of these teams is going to be well earned after this series comes to a close.
Yeah, particularly for Milwaukee. You already talked about the Brewers played 14 innings the last game of the series in Montreal. Come down here Friday and Saturday, played 2 very close, tight games, and extra innings again today.
As Ray Sanchez down, grounded out to second back in the 10th inning. Cue shot into the corner in right. Burnitz on the run. Reaches out. Does he make the catch?
Yes.
He hangs on to retire the side. Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling, Chris Berman might say. A big out in the corner and right, and Bernie gives it up as a souvenir as well.
Well, perhaps a game-saving catch by Jeremy Brunitz in right field. You can't go any further than Brunitz has to go to make this catch. Right on the end of the glove, pounds into the wall, and he holds on to it for out number 3. Boy, what a play by Brunitz.
Huge, enormous. Jeremy got up, dusted himself off, and flipped the ball into the stands.
You know, Matt, that's the kind of ball that inside the park home runs are made of. Bounces off the wall, the left fielder or right fielder is down and rolling around, collecting himself, and by the time the center fielder gets over to make the play, a run has scored.
A new pitcher for the Giants. As we guessed last inning, it's John Johnstone to work the bottom of the 12th. Rob Nen done after 2 scoreless innings in relief. You take a look at the numbers on Johnstone. He's been throwing the ball very, very well as one of the primary setup men for Nen. Things kind of out of sequence here today as we are in the 12th inning. Bobby Hughes to pinch hit. Thus, the bench is empty. Hughes, the last reserve guy that Phil Garner had at his disposal. And he bats here in the pitcher spot to lead off the bottom of the 12th. Marvin Bernard inserted in as your new right fielder. And that moves Alex Diaz over to left. So that gets you set as to the changes here in the bottom of the 12th inning.
Interesting that Dusty Baker would take Barry Bonds out of the lineup. We don't mind seeing him out of there.
1-1 to B. Hughes fouled away.
You gotta wonder why he would do that. Take perhaps the best player in the 90s out of the ball game, extra innings. Perhaps that's just about the only position that he could spare in a double switch situation.
Bobby Hughes is 0 for 3 this year. All 3 of his at-bats have come in pinch hitting variety. Hitless coming in off the bench. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk about Bobby Hughes this year. Playing time has been sparse.
Had a huge spring training. That's why he's on this ball club.
Lined into center. That'll drop.
There you go.
Bobby Hughes' first major league hit.
Not a bad time to get it. Give him that baseball. Now you see it, a fastball up over the plate. Didn't get all of it, but dumps it in front of Darrell Hamilton for his first big league hit. Not a bad spot for it. 12th inning, nobody out. That away, Bobby.
B. Hughes. Bobby Hughes. He'll be talking about that one for a while. Top of the order now, Vina.
Well, you gotta like the Brewers' chances now. Got the top of the order coming up. You figure Vina is going to be bunting in this situation. You got the middle of your order up.
Well, the Brewers so far today with chances to win it in the bottom of the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And Vina pops up the bunt, 1 away.
Now the 3rd consecutive inning that the Brewers have not been able to get the bunt down and move a runner. That has really hurt them so far today. Darren Jackson unable to do it. And Fernando Vina pops the bunt up. Easy play for John Johnstone. Bobby Hughes stays on first base.
Jeff Cirillo, the batter now. Jeff with a couple of singles today. Brewers trying to get it done in the bottom of the 12th. Bob Hamlin waiting on deck for the Brewers. Hughes off first with 1 away, a 2-2 tie.
Bobby Hughes runs pretty good for a catcher. big kid, but he's got pretty long strides. He can get around those bases. A double might score a run.
Johnstone holding Hughes close at first. On the other corner, Bill Miller hugging the line at third. Prevent defense by the Giants here in the bottom of the 12th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeff Cirillo. One of these two teams will see its perfect unbeaten extra innings record blemished after today. Both the Giants and Brewers 2-0 in overtime. Crowd of 30,000 plus. Much of that crowd still around. Hughes running. Cirillo with a shot into the corner and right. This could win it. Hughes will be held at third. Oh.
Well, they were running on the pitch. Bobby Hughes was taken off, and when that ball landed, you thought that the winning run might be able to score, but Joe Youngblood very wisely, with only 1 out, held Hughes at third. Boy, a slicing drive down the line to right field. Every step that Bernard was taking, the ball kept going further and further away. Cirillo on second base. Hughes held up at third. He was humping. He thought he was going to be wingmailed around.
Hughes hesitated between first and second ever so slightly, and after the hesitation, it was a no-brainer for Joel Youngblood to hold him at third base. A good decision by Youngblood. Now the Giants infield will come in. Bob Hamlin, the batter, with 1 away. A fly ball wins this ball game. A blooper out of the infield wins the ball game, as does a wild pitch or a passed ball. Here we go. First pitch to Hamlin. Yanked foul.
Well, the Giants outfield is playing very, very shallow, and the attempt to cut the run down, if Hamlin would have hit a shallow fly ball. They got to be about 200 feet from home plate, if that. Infield in on the cutout of the grass. Obviously, Dusty Baker does not want to load the bases, set up the double play, and bring up perhaps the Brewers' best clutch hitter in Jeremy Burnitz. Got to go after Hamlin here.
Here's a 1-1. This misses outside. Johnstone nibbling now. Jeremy Burnitz waiting on deck behind Hamlin. Hughes at third base, Cirillo at second. Hughes is the guy everybody's concerned with here. If he moves 90 feet, everybody goes home.
Oh.
Boy, still nibbling on the outside. That time Johnstone picks up a strike, 2-2.
Pretty good pitch right on the outside corner. Let's see if it catches the corner. It looked like Brian Johnson pulled that baby in a little bit. Yeah, that wasn't a strike. I'll say it.
2-2. Hamlin 0 for 1 since coming on as a defensive replacement. John Jaha was removed earlier in favor of a pinch runner. So many things have happened that have gotten us to this point, bottom of the 12th. Each team has had opportunities to win it. Ground ball to first. Everybody's got to stay put. Kent applies the tag to Hamlin. And it'll all be up to Jeremy Burnitz.
They're going to walk Jeremy Burnitz. No way that Baker's going to allow Burnitz to beat him in this situation. You got the right-handed hitter Grissom on deck. And Jeremy's going to get a free pass right here.
No doubt about that.
That's a no-brainer right there. No doubt.
This will effectively load the bases for Grissom. Marquise had a chance to win it in the bottom of the 10th with runners at the corners and 2 away. And Rob Nen got him to pop up to shortstop. Grissom was also at the plate in the 8th when the Brewers had runners at the corners and 1 away. Hit the shallow fly ball to center. Hamilton made the catch and then threw out Cirillo trying to score. Marquise with yet another opportunity here in the bottom of the 12th.
On his first couple of attempts to win this ball game late, Marquise has gone after pitches early in the count. Back in the 8th inning, the first pitch, the 10th inning, the second pitch, both on high fastballs.
Base hit wins it. 2 away, bases loaded, bottom of the 12th. There it is! The Brewers win it in 12. Oh my!
There
the Brewers complete the sweep of the Giants as Bernie takes his broom with him. 4 in a row by the Brewers. A series sweep of the defending National League Western Division champs. And again, your extra innings hero, Marquise Grissom.
Well, it took him a while, but he was able to get it done. He likes the first pitch. This time Johnstone gave him a breaking ball right down the middle. Marquise able to bang it into left field. Game over. What a game. Nice game for the Brewers to win.
We'll be back.